Do your own research and due diligence before investing in any company. The information I provide is in no way or manner a professional suggestion to purchase shares in any publicly traded company. I am not licensed to provide financial advice, and this should be considered entertainment. These stock profiles are intended to be trading ideas, a starting point for research. Any individual who chooses to invest in any securities should do so with caution. Investing in securities is speculative and carries a high degree of risk. You may lose some or all the money that is invested. Always research your own investments and consider consulting with a registered investment advisor or a licensed stockbroker before investing. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Had to do a little quick research before the show. Sorry for our little bit late start. What's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining us here. We're going to hop right into it. Very productive day today for the market as a whole. We reached Dow 20,000. And I don't know if it's because, I'm going to slump the music here. I don't know if it was because we had a legendary star today die, Mary Tyler Moore. I hope I'm pronouncing her name right. What's going on, Coralie? Bill Betts. What's going on? Jeff Thayer. Lubda, Q DeMille, Bruce Cole. What's going on, people? Thank you for joining me here on the show today. We had a legendary star pass away today. And, the market, even before then, didn't really, what's going on, Lawrence Kane, really didn't touch on the whole Dow 20,000 thing. It almost seems like it was like another day, because usually when the market reaches these very, very important points, they tend to discuss these things, but they didn't even, really touch on it. I checked my local news, CNN, Fox News. They didn't really touch on, Dow 20,000 today. They didn't really touch on Dow 20,000 today. All right. So I'm not sure what all that was about, but it is what it is. It was a congratulations to a lot of people in here that have been following it. We were looking for Dow 20,000 for the last almost 2.5 weeks. So I was finally glad that we got it. What's going on, Miss Whitley? Yes, indeed. How you doing, Chris? Mag3690. What's going on? I want to talk to the guy who called up yesterday about PULM. If you're watching, bro, call up the show because I remember that call. And PULM goes on today to reach highs of about 72, 73%. Actually, I think it got to a high about 75%. And let me get rid of these. And I just couldn't believe it. I was like, it wasn't on our list to watch. It wasn't on our list to watch. But those of you guys who watched the show, you remember that call. It was the guy that really didn't sound overly confident about himself, and maybe was a little bit nervous, and he's like, yeah, I'm looking at a stock called PULM, and I pulled up the chart, and it just looked like just a stock that, all right, got up, had broken, some fundamentals here, and it was slowly kind of giving away its gains. But I never would have seen this coming based on previous chart history. So I don't know if he got an email. I don't know if he got, a tip on some kind of news, because there wasn't any kind of news for the most part. There wasn't any kind of real news on PULM. And the stock pretty much, cracked, I want to say the 20-day moving average. Actually started above the, what was that? Yeah, it cracked the 10-day moving average. It cracked its 10-day moving average at about 1050. And it basically never came back, until towards the end of the day. Broke the 10-day moving average, hugged the bands all, higher throughout the day. And this is a 1-day 5-minute chart. Absolutely beautiful. I actually caught toward the end here. You can see I was catching this slowing down in the buying here, because that lets you know right here, declining RSI, buyers are getting a little bit weaker, people looking to rushing to the exits. And that's basically what happens when you see these stocks that go up 70-75%. Towards the end of the day, people start rushing for the doors, particularly what we call strong holders. And that's what I'm going to talk a little bit about today. Weak holders and strong holders after we do a quick review of some stocks you guys looked at today. So PULM was a late short for me. If you guys were in the Discord room, I posted up MCF. MCF, you guys know first 30 minutes. I don't pretty much trade first 30 minutes. By 10:40 or so, I called this MCF breaking fundamental rules here outside of the Bollinger Band, and that's a beautiful, beautiful short right here. Didn't take too long, but from 8:39 and sold at about 8:10. Really, really good trade for me on MCF. And again, during the day, it's hard to find, because I can't. And if you guys are good at this, please let me know how to be able to see this coming, right? Because it's easier to be able to tell where to short, right? Because there's always an opportunity during the day. But to know when to go long, I'm still learning when to go long intraday, when to go long, because I'm typically terrible at that. I can position trade myself over multiple days, but intraday trading going long, man, that's scary as hell to me. All right. What's going on, bad scientists? TGB. Yeah, let's take a look at some of the stocks that you guys traded today before I go into my quick lesson about weak holders, strong holders. TGB up 5% today. Gold. What is this, a mining stock? Interesting that this is a mining stock because gold took a beating today. I had mentioned yesterday on the show that GDX reaching 2350, and sure enough, it opened below 2350, eventually recovering at the end of the day. So this is kind of breaking the trend today for this stock, up 5% for the day, knowing that gold was pretty, beat up today. When we look at a lot of the gold ETFs, many of them opened lower, closed lower than they were yesterday. So TGB, I'll be interesting to see what this happens tomorrow. So unless this is under like a delayed reaction kind of thing, it's going to be interesting to see how that continues on. Bad scientists, you're saying the 4 and 8 EMA? Yeah, I have to pay attention to that. Got to pay attention to that. All right. USMJ. Now, USMJ, bad scientists also brought that up to me on Twitter. As you can see here, USMJ, still a lot of accumulation, a lot of shares out there when you see this. Now, obviously, there's kind of ton of shares out here. Is just, when you start seeing charts that look like this, I can almost assure you there are a couple billion shares of this stock out here, and they're just constantly being dumped and bought. Slowly moving out. 003 gain today, almost 50% gain today. Let me spread the chart out and see what the hell's going on here. Man, this is an ugly looking chart here. All right. All right. So this is a breakout out of almost 4 months. Real resistance under that 006. Finally broke out today. For a 50% gain. We'll see if it holds and if these individuals, decide to stick in the stock. They decide to stick in the stock. This would have been a really great opportunity for somebody to get in here during that sideways movement. But again, you would have to wait multiple months for this to occur. All right, multiple months for this to occur. It's very, I don't know. I don't know where to go with UCMJ right now because it just doesn't have the loyalty that you want to see out of a stock. It just doesn't have the loyalty, David, you said you put it on alert at 122. Yeah, that would have been a great pickup at 122. 50% gain. Obviously, if you're in it now, and you got that 50% gain, congrats to you. IPI was on our list last night. IPI for the, actually the high was, I believe, 15%. Here's the day chart in IPI. IPI was on our list last night as a stock to watch. But as you know, we can't be everywhere at every time. And IPI, nice gain on the stock too. This is another stock that would have been really nice to play as well. IPI got really high on the RSI, would have made a great short as well on IPI there. As we can see here, what was that, 10? Yeah, about 1038, 1040. Would have been a great trade for somebody there at what was that, 236, all the way down to 208. Yeah, that would have been a great short for someone. But IPI, the agricultural chemicals company, Intrepid Potash, that's not bad. Not bad. 14% gain for the stock today, 234. Let's look at what's the primary trend here. So, okay, it's breaking out of some resistance here at 234. All right. It's made, okay. Let me see this here. Okay, so didn't really get above it, but, and this is going back to March of 2016. March of 2016. Looks like it tried to retest it towards the end of the day. Broke past the 20-day moving, but, you know, didn't really get it. So it's got some pressure. We'll see what happens there tomorrow on IPI. What happens there tomorrow on IPI? In fact, I'm going to put this on our list and see, just for us to see what happens. But 236 right now on the chart for IPI. Yeah, PNTV, man. I think it was Bat Scientist. Shout out to Bat Scientist, man, for this PNTV call. You know, beautiful call on PNTV. Let me go to a one-day chart. Here's the one-day chart in PNTV. Obviously, it's a penny stock. Very, you know, kind of a sketchier. You know, not too many. You know, volume was kind of all over the place. As you can see, a lot of gaps in the prices as the buyers in the stock were individuals who bought big blocks, not, you know, small buyers throughout the day, but multiple big block purchases in PNTV. In fact, if you guys pull up that Investors Hangout, you know, time and sell sheets, you can see those were huge blocks being bought on PNTV throughout the morning. Eventually settled out here at 0024, but huge morning for PNTV. Huge morning for PNTV. Shout out to Bat Scientist for that, man. Thank you so much for that. So it's on my list to watch for tomorrow. Right, really interesting to see how far this can go. Really breaking out today. As you can see, this is the 1 year chart. I'm pulling it out. As you can see here, big action came in November. Now we're at that top high of the band. You know, I wouldn't short this. Obviously, it's, you know, less than a nickel. I would never short a stock out there. You got to put up $2.50 a share, so it wouldn't even be worth it for anybody. So this goes to shows we're supernova now here on the 1 year chart. I believe we also on the same way on the 6 month. Yep, on the 6 month, showing the same way as well too. So as we can see here, that's our top, which is that double 2 cents, 0.0255. So we'll see if tomorrow, if we break past that, I'd buy that break. I'll buy that breakout. All right. Not sure how it'll last, but I'll definitely go for a ride. And if your profit starts building up and you're happy with it, I'd take profit. So 0.0255 tomorrow. That's actually the first stock I'm going to put on our list for tomorrow. PNTV, among, by the way, PULM. That should already be on your stock to watch for tomorrow anyway, among other stocks you're looking at. DIGF. Didn't take a look at this stock today, up 65%. God dang. Wow, Bad Scientist, you were really on it, man.
Jordan to the crossover. Yes.
You were really on it. This is another trade here. As you can see here, let me get the 1 day. Okay, so here's the 1 day on it. Here's the 1 day on it. And as you can see here, again, you know, big blocks being bought, not necessarily small purchases. It's trying to load up the bands now on it, but it looks like it's doing a lot of work to get there. DIGAF, OTC stock up 65% today, 9 cent gain. Opened up at 13 cents a share. and closing at 23. So huge moves. You guys know what happens with penny stocks. It just kind of, those big percentage moves can turn $200, $250 into a windfall of some really nice cash. All right, Digitrade, DIGAF, and overall, again, let me look at the 90-day chart. All right, so we've been bearish. It's been bearish for some time, and it just kind of found its way again when we look at the sweet spot here. When we find a support level, starts trading where it becomes a safe trade to go long. Sure enough, the bands exploded out, and now we're kind of at that top here on the 1-year chart at 23.10. We'll see if we hold this tomorrow. But insane volume in the stock. Typically 170,000 shares are traded, and over 1 million shares were traded in DIGAF today. And again, this is a stock that hasn't had news. I'm looking at it almost 60 days. Almost 60 days the stock hasn't had any news. And sure enough, today really just kind of explodes when it finds some buyers. So I don't know if possibly an email was sent. If somebody received an email or something, let me know. But again, shout out to Bad Scientist for this call as well. Could be a multiple day situation. I'm going to put it on our list again. DIGAF could be a multiple day situation. But Bad Scientist, if you want to call up and kind of explain a little bit of what you're looking for when you look at these, stocks, and how they got your attention to begin with, I'm sure people will be really, happy to hear, how do you go about finding these opportunities for yourself? All right, so give us a call and let us know how you get that done. All right. Cover up pod stock ACBFF. I'm going to look at ACBFF in a second. MOSI, MOSY, MOSI semiconductor play. Wow, this is the cheapest semiconductor, stock I've ever seen. Let me see here. What's the 5-day look like? Wow, beautiful 5-day chart. Again, didn't pull up on my scans. Why aren't these pulling up on? Why isn't this stock pulling up on my scans? 5-day chart looks absolutely gorgeous. I mean, look at this 5-day chart, man. That's a beautiful looking chart. What's the primary trend? Looks like, okay, so it's been bearish. It looks like, I think they call this a dead cat bounce, right? But the stock necessarily it's not necessarily was dead. It just kind of found a bottom to bounce off of. All right. So I don't want to even call it a dead cat bounce, because dead cat bounce typically has a flat trend, and then all of a sudden it shows up out of nowhere after being really tight on a band. But this almost looks like just a bottom bounce, right? I want to say a bottom bounce. Hopefully I'm not killing that. But as we can see here, been very bearish, since November. MOSY is the chart. Again, high on the bands here at 35 cents. Can this keep going? I mean, the 5-day chart looks absolutely beautiful. And we're flagging to the right a little bit, so that kind of can tell us that we might go a little bit higher tomorrow. I don't see, if we look at the 30-day chart, here's another situation. I might even be a little bit high with that. I'm probably being a little bit too generous. Let's come down a little bit. All right, so 36 cents. All right, it's not. I wouldn't even call that a real resistance point anyway. It's just, that's just basically where we closed at. All right, so MOSY on the stock on the chart for tomorrow as well. MOSY. Appreciate that, Joe Silva. Thank you so much for that. MOSY. Again, very flagging a little bit to the right. I love how they flag to the right like that, because that typically tells you could be a continuation into the next day. Unless we find some negative information, go ahead and review the financials for that. And just obviously, it's going to be a struggling company being that they're trading so low. But I would go and see what they're talking about on social media with that, and see what else is going on here, because I feel like we don't have the whole story. Obviously, all we're looking at is the chart. So there could be other news out there on that one. ACBFF. ACBFF, I remember this one. This is the Canadian weed play, Aurora Cannabis. It's a little expensive for me. You know, when we're talking about penny stocks, especially in the weed sector, I don't like going typically over, 50 cents because they're, in themselves, they're experimental companies, right? I mean, they're before the last 2 or 3 years, they haven't been publicly traded marijuana companies. So buying a marijuana stock at $1.85 is it's a little bit out there for me. But if it's something that you're looking for, as you can see here, it's at a depressed price right now at $1.84. You're off recent highs here, 52-week high of $3.95. All right, so you pulled back some. Here's the 1-year trend in the stock. All right, here's the 1-year trend in the stock. As you can see, we had that huge run up towards the election. Stock pulled back, recovered, found that base at 140. So you got this strong support here in the 140s, 150, and now you're basically trending, trying to retest down day today. Again, Canadian marijuana play, very stable, decent volume today, almost 1 million shares traded. So it's got people who like the stock. It's got some people who like the stock. ACBFF down 6% today on the stock, 185. You let me know if this is something that can retest that recent 206, 207 price level. We're at 185 now. Volume still pretty good at 1 million shares traded. So you still got, still got a lot of support here down day today. Not sure why. It looks like we just had some people exit. But, maybe some buyers can come in and snatch this stuff up. All right. DCTH, which was a short for me yesterday, DCTH, as we can see here today, forgot about it today, but DCTH down 14%. Again, these are those, stocks that when, they just can't hold. And, what can you say about the stock here? When I look at this chart, I'm looking at possibly weak hands, moving forward. I'll probably see another red day tomorrow in DCTH. I think I see another red day in DCTH. I mean, when I look at, the chart, especially after 12 here, and you've seen this trending, RSI is not really being able to make its mind up here. Volume is drying up a little bit. All right. If we look at, this is the 1 day. So this is 1 day today. Looks like strong hands were selling into this 35 to 43. Yeah, I'm actually seeing this probably lower tomorrow. So I'll probably see a red day for DCTH tomorrow. Not a great whelp. You said look at the news. Okay, there's news on it. All right. And again, if you guys have a stock you just have to, have people know about, give me a call here on the show. BCRX, BioCrest Pharmaceuticals. BCRX, who brought that up? What do you like about this, Devon? What's going on, Travi? 23-cent gain on the stock today. Wow, okay. This is a nice chart, man. That's a pretty nice 5-day chart there. Actually, that's just last 2 days, but this is a really nice 5-day chart in BCRX. You let me know if this is something that can continue here, because I don't see. I'm predicting a spike. I don't see any recent news for the company. I do see here 2.5 weeks ago, they received approval for their drug in Canada, RapidVab, for the treatment of influenza. 3% gain on the stock today. All right, 3% gain on the stock today. Dries, yeah, you're saying, yeah, Dries, with that situation with Dries. I think Dries should have never reverse split. I think if Dries would have allowed itself to get below $1, we could have been looking at, some shorters getting caught up here. But, with that reverse split, all you did is made it fatter for the shorters. And as you can see here, Dries is just getting eaten alive. Just getting eaten alive. Here's the 5-day chart in Dries. Now, the only thing that can change Dries is some serious news being dropped here. Can't spend too much time on this because this is just ugly. This is just ugly, 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 ugly. All right, and which is crazy because the stock is losing, these huge percentage moves, and it's at a short of a float than it's ever been. Short of a float than it's ever been. SGBY. What's going on, T-Stout? SGBY, 6% gain in the stock today. Somebody had mentioned in the Discord room that they were taking a long position in SGBY. If that person's watching, give me a call and let me know why. Who was that? Bo Vosh. Was that Bo Vosh? Yes, Bo Vosh. It was, actually, no, it was, who said that? It was T-Stout. T-Stout and Bo Vosh. T-Stout and Bo Vosh. I know I see T-Stout in the chat room. Bo Vosh, if you're watching, give me a call. Let me know why SGBY, you guys decided to go long here in SGBY. What do you see in SGBY? SGBY, again, this is a stock that's been up like almost 1,000, 2,000% for the year. This is one of those double zero plays that can go crazy. That's why I'm not shitting on USMJ, because some people say, "Oh, are you shitting on USMJ?" No, because we know what can happen when you have those 0004s, 0005s, right? SGBY, this was a 0006 stock, now trading at 2 cents a share, right? For a gain of almost 1,700%. That's about 1,700%, all right? That's about 1,700% there. $1,000 investment, what is that? A lot of money. A lot of money. All right, so that's why USMJ, if you got the money to go long on USMJ, then by all means, if you're willing to risk it. Somebody brought up USII. USII is a stock led by their CEO, who just did an interview 2 days ago, by the way. I shared that on my Twitter handle. But he's talking about he's getting things ramped up. So USII is a stock that I'm in for at least 90 to 120 days. So I'm not watching it day to day. What you really can't do with a lot of these triples, you can't really just chart read them like that. You just kind of have to let them do what they're gonna do. All right. So USII, one of those stocks here it's doing its thing. It's doing its thing. USMJ, going back to USMJ. Yeah, so USMJ was up 50%. Just gotta let them do their own thing. Let them do their thing. With a lot of these triples, you gotta be patient with them. BCRX. Yeah, we talked about that BCRX already. IMNP. Yeah, I like USII long. I like USMJ long. Stocks that you think have a potential to run. Those are the stocks you want to be in long at those depressed prices. Up 50%. I'd love to, if you're talking about USMJ, if it even touches 0006 tomorrow, on a pullback, maybe somebody really who's been in since 0003 want to get out, I'd buy that to go long. But it's not something you're looking to sell, next week. Wait for 0010, wait for 0012, 14. Take profits, but by all means, let your profits build too. Especially when you only got a couple $100 in, $250, $150. You buying 000 stocks, let those let the stock run. Let the stock run. Big gap area, BCRX. Let me see here. IPXL. Okay. All right. $12 stock. Not my thing. All right. Not my thing. Like, very, very bearish stock too. IPXL. Yeah, this $12 stock. Can't buy as much as I would want to make it work for me. RMHB. Jeez. Okay. All right. So this looks like when I look at RMHB, Rocky Mountain High Brands, it reminds me of that other company that looks very similar, which is Iconic Brands, ICNB. RMHB is another one. I believe they sell, is it like a hemp infused drink or some crap like that? It's something to that effect. A little too scary for me at this point. I honestly, I think if you got in, a week or so ago in this, I mean, congratulations to you. I mean, that's big for you. I mean, you're up over, what is that, 120% on the stock. If you got in at 6 cents a share, you got as high as 16 cents a share. So congratulations to you for you on that gain. But RMHB, I don't know. We'll see what it can do. We'll see what it can do. PURA partnered with PURA. Pura is a stock that was on our list here several months ago. PURA. I'm not a fan of PURA because I again, it's one of those stocks that I feel like when it does run, it tends to, again, where we have these sells towards the close like that, where you have these huge dumps into the close, where you're just like, is this going to, I mean, that's almost like every day, where you have these like dumps into the close, and you're not sure if this is the beginning or the end. You're not sure if this is the beginning or the end, when you look at PURA, down 2% today. The only reason it's down is because of that dump towards the end of the day. When you look at PURA for the day, that's the only reason why it's down. That's the only reason why it's down. Static Volt, January of 2015. I walked out and, I told them I was going to grab something in my car, and I basically walked off the job. What else? PLX. And then I got a letter like 2 months later saying I got fired. I'm like, okay, duh. You guys should have fired me the next day when I didn't come in. PLX, Protalix Biotherapeutics. Not bad. Sideways day for the stock today. This is the 5-day chart. It just looks really good. Again, I love the way it's flagging to the right like that. And, wow, this is the 10-day. 10-day looks even better. 10-day looks even better on PLX. Not bad. 1 million shares traded today. Averages over 500,000 shares. So PLX, not bad for a swing trade. Let me know if it's got some more going. You guys are bringing up some really good charts today, but let me know what we can expect moving forward for the stock. Where do we see this going? Do you feel like it's got momentum to go higher? Because the last thing I want to do is find myself into these stocks that are, too expensive. And when I look at PLX, I see here, okay, that's a beautiful breakout price right there at 59 cents, which we're just below. That was a high that was set on November 29th. Looking to break out of where it basically fell off the roof at. So great opportunity for somebody who had got in here. 30 cents a share. Wow, you're up over 100% in the stock, well over 100% for individuals who are in PLX. Not sure what happened back in November, but patience pays off for individuals who are in PLX. Shout out for them. All right. Shout out to them. All right. IVFZF. Invictus. IVFZF. Okay, I remember Treasure Hunter bringing this stock up. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with this. 400% today. You know, this only 925 shares. Yeah, okay. This is you know, it's just a scam basically. I don't know what's going on. Only 400 shares. It's not worth getting in. All right, ICLD. Yeah, Bad Scientist. What's going on with ICLD? We had this on the show last week, and it's basically been losing ever since. It's basically been losing ever since, ICLD. And this is a stock that, you know, we've seen some charts like this before, right? We've seen charts like this before. Stocks that have been incredibly bearish, right? I mean, this has been falling off the roof, you know, since 95 cents a share. Wow, this would have been a beautiful short for somebody. Look at that. Look at that incredible gain you would have got if you shorted this at $1, right? When I talk about set it and forget it, somebody had asked me, what do you mean by set it and forget it? This is what I mean. You set it and forget it on something like this, you know. Oh man, that would have been beautiful. But here's the thing though. It's kind of leveling out though right now, isn't it? It's kind of leveling out a little bit there. I'm seeing it kind of level out a little bit. Is it just me or is it leveling out a little bit here? This is. Let me see here. We've got some support. We've got some support there at 0.0174. And you know what? I'm going to put this on the list for tomorrow. It's risky. But it's been in that funnel here for quite some time. Matter of fact, let me see here. I don't mind it at this price. I'm gonna put this on the list for tomorrow. It's actually not too bad. ICLD. 630, you're on the air. What's up?
What's up, man? What's up, Sal? Sean Gotti.
Hey, what's going on with you, man?
Man, I bought into that ICLD when Bat mentioned it the other day.
Okay.
And it's been falling, but it do look stable to me as well.
Yeah.
I'm expecting it to bounce. I think it's going to bounce. I'm going to hold on to it for a little while.
Yeah, I think he was a little bit early. You know, this was just, I mean, but it wasn't too long ago. I think he called up about it. What was it, Thursday?
Was that Thursday?
When did you get into the stock?
I think Monday.
Monday, okay. Monday the 20th.
Monday I bought into it. Yeah.
All right. That's still fine, but I think you can make that back up if you're. I think you can make that back up. You know, in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, it's been moving up and down, but I think that was on the money when he explained it. But I think he's off about a week. I think by next week it's going to make a real major jump.
Yeah. You know, again, I like this. I like the fact that, you know, very, very bearish, but it looks like it's found, you know, a floor. And now we're funneling a little bit now. The bands are getting a little bit tighter now.
Yep, that's what I saw. Because I missed yesterday's show. when he was explaining the sausage description. And like you said, though, it could go up or down, but it's getting ready to explode into something.
Yeah.
I think that's important.
Yeah, and you know, for the people who are looking to get into this, because I can tell you right now, I'm going to pick up some shares tomorrow, and just to be safe, you know, I'll pick up, you know, maybe 500 shares, well, not 500 shares, $500 worth of shares, right? You know, just something that I'm okay with losing, you know, and I want to get in at that support of, you know, 0.0180, which is where it's at right now.
Yeah.
So we'll see, because this could rise any day now, based on what I'm seeing here, and you know, history of trading. This could really take off any day now, based on the way this bands are tightening here.
Yeah, we'll
All right.
see. We'll see. You know something, man? I've been while I got you on the line.
Yeah.
Is the MCOA?
Okay. Yeah. Let's take a look at that. MCOA. That's the marijuana. The marijuana company. MCOA. This is a stock that I've been following too.
Now they released something about they want to do they put in. They had their accountants go over their finances or something?
Yeah.
They want to upgrade soon or something like that. That was a couple of months back.
Yeah. MCOA, it's been a crazy 2 weeks. I've been following this stock, as you can see on the chart too. It broke out at some levels, and it's just the frustrating thing about MCOA is just it can't, once it gets into a rhythm, it never holds the rhythm. And we're already finding ourselves, we couldn't hold 10 cents a share. Now we're struggling to hold above 7. You know, my dead end zone is 0.0776. We're at 0.0790. So I don't know about MCOA right now. Where are you in at now in this stock right now?
Me, I messed up with this one. I think I got in at 88.
Okay.
088.
Let me see, what did it do today? Okay. You know, volume has been drying up a little bit. You know, it averages 26 million shares. You know, last couple of days I'm seeing 19, 17. Man.
That's low to you?
Well, you know, again, 26 million was where it was increasing in value, right? So declining volume means declining prices. So yes, that's high volume, but I want to see that going higher, because that means higher prices. When you see declining volume, typically you see declining prices. So yeah, I mean, that's still a lot of volume, but I want to see that go higher, because that
higher
means,
than that.
right. That means that's no more new money. You know what I'm saying?
It seems to me like, like I said, that report is coming out where they want to upgrade. It seems to me like it's because that's still a lot of shares, correct? So some few investors out there probably holding on to it just in case some good news is coming.
Now they mentioned 30 days ago that they had engaged to become a fully reporting public company. Right now, you know, I believe they're OTC Pinks. Am I right? MCOA.
I don't think so. I think they're a little higher.
Are they MCOA? Yeah, no, they're OTC Pink right now. They are OTC.
They
Pink.
are?
Yeah, they are OTC Pink. So they want to become a fully reporting company. So yeah, OTC Pinks, as you guys know, that's the lowest level of OTC markets. That's the lowest level they can trade under. If they move up to OTC QB, then they start actually submitting SEC filings, right, in order to continue to trade at the QB level. And that would bring in some new money. You know, you got people who I've met who say, I don't trade pinks. I don't want any money on pinks, blah, blah, blah. So we'll see what happens with MCOA.
Right.
But again, my dead end zone, and I have it listed here, is 0.0776, and it's approaching it. We're right on top of it. So if we break 0.0076 tomorrow, then I'm looking at we possibly could go back down to the sixes, maybe even mid sixes, to see if we can bounce off that. Yeah.
Okay.
But appreciate it, man. I'm definitely going to be looking forward to seeing that report comes out, and maybe that can drive prices higher. If they do become, again, a fully reporting company like they mentioned in this article, yeah, that's going to bring some new money, and that's going to be able to, send the prices higher again.
Well, we praying for that one then.
We'll see. But yeah, but MCOA could move. I mean, MCOA looks very much like OWCP did. OWCP was a company that was struggling, and that's a stock we mentioned here yesterday. That was a stock that was struggling to move from 4 to 10. I mentioned how there were people in the chat room right now who are in OWCP at 4 to 10. It struggled. That stock struggled to really get out of those levels. As you can see here, here's OWCP trying to fight 0 to 10. It barely made it, but sure enough, eventually it did break out of that 10-cent ceiling, and OWCP now it's made some people some really, really good money who've been confident in the stock. But I mean, look, if you believe in the company, you believe they're doing the right things, stick with it. It could turn out better for you.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Sal.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks for the call.
Later.
All right. So yeah, man, I mean, if you guys believe in these companies and you believe they're doing the right thing, stick with it. Stick with it. I wish I stuck with OWCP. I know Bill Betts. I'm sure you wish that you could have stuck with OWCP and many other people. This was a stock that got a lot of people frustrated, including myself, because we got up to 20 cents a share. We struggled with 10, broke out of 10, got to 20, and it basically collapsed. And sure enough, we're at 70 cents a share right now. So sometimes you just gotta, dig a little deep, with a lot of these marijuana stocks. MJNA, somebody brought up MJNA. MJNA, good day today, last I checked. Yeah, good day for MJNA today. It's another stock that I'm watching. We had the high of 24 cents during the elections. We're attempting to retest it, but it's been struggling with it a little bit. So it's been a bit of a struggle for MJNA, these last couple days. This first month of the new year hasn't really been as productive as we would like to see MJNA. It actually started the month with a gap lower, and we just haven't been able to retest the monthly high, which is 1824, 1829, and I already have that marked on on my chart, and I have that set. In fact, I have an alert set at 1829. If it breaks through that, I want to be all over it. But as of right now, still sideways movement for MJNA, 7%. Good day for the stock though. Bad Scientist, what's good, man?
Hey Sal, how's it going?
Doing good. I want to know what's your secret, man. You had, I'm looking at the stocks you presented us with yesterday. DIGF, PNTV. I mean, those were huge movers for us today. What's the secret? What are you doing to find these movers, man? I mean, the people want to know.
Well, the only one that disappointed was AUPH. I mean, that one went to 355 and then crashed all the way down to just below 3. But the good thing about that one, it's still on the edge of the upper Bollinger Band on the funnel. So my guess is maybe it's today was more of a pullback. More than likely, it's just going to trace the edge of that upper Bollinger Band and maybe bounce again. So I'm not totally writing off AUPH, but the other three are going smoothly, and I'm recommending them as continuation plays into tomorrow as well.
Now, just to ask on AUPH, are you done with AUPH, or is it something that you feel could? Because I mean, I see we're at support here on AUPH. Right. Is it? Well, we're actually just below it.
Yeah, so the funny thing, it's funny you should mention that. So of the 4 picks I mentioned to you guys yesterday, the only one that didn't work today that I was invested in was AUPH.
Yeah.
So I'm not done with it. I'm still holding because I managed to get it at $3 today. So if I'd sold it at $3.55 today, I would have been just short of 20%.
Okay.
But I'm trying to practice the patience of holding a stock for swing trade purposes over multiple days. And it was so tempting when it was up there in the 350s. I really should have sold it because I'm normally a guy who will sell if I get 10 or 15%.
Yeah.
So, but when it went up there, I had to literally clasp my hands together and prevent myself from selling.
Oh man,
that in retrospect, I should have.
I mean, obviously, when it breaks the bands like this, I would have shorted this all day, every day. Here on the 5-minute chart, that would have been a great short too.
So I mean, in answer to your question, yes, I think it's still in play right now. If you want specific figures, so. The lower candle wick is flirting with the 290s. Mm-hmm. If it breaks below 290 tomorrow, I'll only start to worry once again if it breaks the 8 exponential moving average. So that's going to be at about 268. Right. If it hits like 265, then I'm like, there's still a chance though that because most of these will maybe fall back to the 8 exponential or even back to the median or middle Bollinger Band. Okay. So it could drop back to 240, but this is something that I don't think the stock is going to drop that far. Okay. I think it's going to try find some kind of consolidation up there, whether it's the $3 range or whether it will, bounce back up to 330 and come back down. Because I honestly feel that there's still play on this one. And once again, we still, even though we closed a few cents lower than yesterday, we're still above the upper Bollinger Band. So let's keep this one on our on our watch list for tomorrow as well.
So you actually, just to, again, summarize the gist of what you're saying, you actually think this is an opportunity for individuals who have been on the sidelines, who've been interested to get in at these lower prices for a possible retest up to 3s.
Absolutely. I totally believe that, and it looks like I looked at it earlier after hours. Okay, it's a bit down. It's down to 293 after hours, but it did edge up to 3 initially in the first hour after the markets closed. But I'm not writing this one off at all. Like I said, if it breaks $2.68, I will start to worry because for me, the 8 exponential moving average, that's going to confirm for me whether we're actually in a downtrend. So I would normally use the 4 exponential in combination with the 8. The 4 gives me maybe the initial hunch that it's coming down, but if it crosses both the 4 and the 8, then I start to worry. And in fact, if it does break the 8, I probably would short it and then make sure your stop loss is somewhere just over the 8 exponential.
Now, Bad Scientist, we're in here pretty heavy, so everybody go ahead and like this video. If you ain't gonna donate no money, go ahead and like the video. With that being said, Bad Scientist, back to my original question, though. But how are you finding these opportunities like, DIGAF and PNTV? Those were huge moves for us today. And, you found them before, the market gave them those gains. So, how did you do that?
Yeah, so it's long story short, I use a number of indicators and visual cues to tell me. Since the last week where I've discovered Bollinger Bands, it just helps me visualize. So you'll often see in my tweets where I have the Bollinger Band shaded, and it gives me, I can tell in 10 seconds whether I want to get into something or not, just by visualizing it. And the more and more you work on your method, the more and more you're more confident in making a decision. So let's take, for instance, an example. I actually have a list of about 10, but I'm trying to narrow those down to maybe something that's more, workable for the purposes of this conversation. But definitely the 4 I picked, I'm recommending moving on with those for continuation plays into tomorrow. So let's take something. I've got one pick here that we can take as like a case study.
Give me the
VNR, and actually Gerardo from our group brought it up.
VNR,
yesterday.
okay, interesting. VNR, yeah, VNR was a stock that I was following this very much today as a possible short at that solid one, but it's got a lot of volume, so I'm leaving that alone. But VNR, Vanguard National Resources, oil and gas play. This is kind of one of those stocks that's moving on the whole pipeline fiasco situation. VNR, what do you like about it, and what do you think?
Okay, so let's break this down to the bare essentials, because this is a typical example. Okay, so if you look at if we look at the daily chart on this, since I'm really talking about swing trading from day to day or week to week, let's look at the last 5 candles.
Okay, so are we on the 5-minute chart?
No, the daily chart.
Okay.
So this is, even yesterday I was referring to the daily chart because I'm looking to swing trade these, either holding overnight into the next day or holding for a couple of days or a week. So on the daily chart, if we look at the last 5 candles.
Okay, so daily.
Starting.
But I'm guessing you're probably talking about daily 5-minute though.
No, daily as in daily. Each candlestick is 1 day.
Okay, let me see. Okay, so 1 day.
Yeah. So
okay.
if I'm trading intraday on the same day, yes, then it's a 5-minute. It's a 5-minute chart.
Okay.
But for swing trading, since I was talking yesterday and referring to today and the rest of the week, that would be a 1-day chart. So each candlestick is 1 day.
VNR. All right, so I got the last. Here's the daily chart.
Okay, so let's take a look at the final 5 candles.
Okay. We're still right at
you see the first candle 5 days ago, that's a typical doji. So a doji is where there's indecision between buyers and sellers. Can you see that part?
Yeah, I do see that.
So
right
that would
here.
have been the 19th of January?
Exactly, yep.
Okay, so if you have a doji, especially at the bottom of a chart, what you're looking for is a green day the next day. So this is what you would do if you wanted to catch this move really early. And as you can see, we're just coming out of that funnel and entering into the link or the tunnel before it starts funneling out again on the Bollinger Bands. So on the 19th, there was a day of indecision between buyers and sellers, hence the doji or the star-shaped candlestick. The next day was a very positive day. So already when a doji, the following day after a doji or where you have indecision, if it's up, that's showing you at least the trend on a short time basis. And if you put the 8 and 4 exponential moving average, you'll see that they start curving up as well around the same time. So the 4 and the 8, if I want to ignore Bollinger Bands, I'll always use just the 4 and the 8. That will give me the quickest move to detect, on the upside or the downside.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so you see the next day. Okay, so let's go back. The fifth candle from today, that closed at 76 cents.
Yeah.
The next day, it closed at 81 cents.
81 cents, yeah.
We're developing a higher low, higher high, all that stuff. The very next day, so the third candlestick, we're now closing at, from 81, we're closing, it went to a high of 97, but closed at 83. And then the very next day, we're now at 90 cents. Today, we closed at $1.01.
Okay.
So those very small moves, if you can catch them initially with the 4 and 8 exponential moving average, then you're golden. Now, if it goes against you, all you need to do is, like I said, use maybe something like the 8 exponential moving average. As your price breaks the 8 exponential moving average, you can get into that stock. If it falls below the 8 exponential moving average, then you can put a stop depending on how much you want to risk. You can put a stop maybe a few ticks below that.
Mm-hmm.
But the 8 is what, and it's sometimes called the T line or trigger line. And the 8 gives you definitively when you should get in and out of a stock, whether you're shorting it or whether you're going long.
Let me see
So
what the 8 and 4 would look like on this chart. Let me pull that up here and pull that to a 4. See if I make it dark for you guys so you guys can see it. Okay, so I can see here. In fact, let me make this is kind of green. Let me go ahead and make this like pink or something. Hold on, let me make it another color. And make this. Make the pink one. Try not to confuse you guys so you guys can actually see these lines. Okay, so I can see where the 8, or let me see here. This is the 4.
So
the 4, which is the blue line. White is 8.
If you want to oversimplify it, just put the 8 exponential moving average in there.
Yeah.
The 4 will catch a quicker move, but for the purposes of this, and in fact, the 4 is not, normally it catches moves just slightly quicker than the 8, so I would just put the 8 exponential in there.
Yeah, this is nice. Okay.
Is the blue line the 8?
No, the blue line is the 4.
Okay.
And
so
then the white line
how
is the
the
8.
You see how the candlesticks are tracing right above the 4 and tracking it. Yeah, so the 4 catches early moves, and you'll notice in parabolic moves that for whatever reason or other, either the candle itself or the lower wick will always track that 4 exponential moving average. So that's what I use for quick moves, either long or short.
Okay.
So, and now when you combine the Bollinger Band, you'll notice that so the third to last candle is right on top of the Bollinger Band. It's right.
Yeah.
It closed right on, and then the next day it busts through the top of the Bollinger Band.
Yeah.
It starts funneling out. That's when you get your bullish expansion. So you have a number of places where you could have entered here, but to be absolutely sure, just wait for the break out of the upper Bollinger Band.
Now you're saying that this is actually another buy sign. You would actually suggest people go in here at one or because typically when you see
The reason why I'm picking this is a continuation play for tomorrow as well.
Mm.
And the fact that it actually saw $1, any dollar or $half marks, those are all psychological thresholds or psychological milestones.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that it closed above $1 at $1.01, that's good.
Yeah.
It actually went to a high of $1.05. So this one is not done, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's absolutely right when he talks about that being that $1 is a big time milestone for buyers and for shorters for stocks.
And it's really just the second day that you started going above that funnel.
Yeah.
So you wait for the Bollinger Band to constrict, and then as it's expanding and the price breaks that upper Bollinger Band, that's when you get it.
Mm-hmm.
So that is exactly what I'm looking for. That's what I was looking at when I identified AUPH, IPI, DIGF, and PNTV. This is the exact setup I was looking for.
Okay, I like that. That makes sense on the daily chart. Definitely not on an intraday chart. I would never buy on an intraday chart. I would never buy beyond the bands. That's a shorter's dream out when you see this as a shorter.
Okay, so do you want to take this VNR and let's put the 5-minute chart on this, and I'll tell you how I would have traded it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So let's see the 5-minute intraday chart for this. Okay. So this is today. This starts today. 5-minute chart, intraday chart.
Okay. So nothing really changes. You can leave the Bollinger Bands in there. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But when I'm trading intraday, what I'm looking at is, keep the 4 and 8 exponential moving average, because those are the two that work regardless of time frame.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you're doing it 5 minute, 1 day, weekly, monthly, that stuff really works.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So tell me what you see in the first, let's see, so the stock out of the gates pretty much goes up all the way from when the market opens at 9:30 till about
here's the open.
10:05.
Yeah, till about
10:05.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now so look at this now. Look at those candlesticks. What are they tracking? What's immediately under them? Which of those moving averages is immediately under them?
Sure. Okay. So this is the 20-day moving average. That's in Bollinger's. I can't put your 4 and 8 if you want back on there. The purple,
that's what I use.
The purple is the 4. The 8. The white one is the 8. As you can see, it goes negative, or the 4 goes under the 8 at exactly 10:30, and we really don't we don't really recover until about 1:30 or so.
Okay. So remember when I said use your 8 to make the final confirmation?
Mm-hmm.
So your 8 is the pink line, right?
Yes, the 8 is the 8 is the 8 is the white line. 8 is the white line.
Oh, sorry, white. Sorry,
4
it
is the
looks
pink
a bit
line.
pink on my screen. Okay. All right. So notice with the 8 exponential moving average, your price only crosses the 8 right at the top. The 4 catches the top perfectly, but the 8 is slightly later than that.
Yeah.
That's when you would get out of the stock. If your candlesticks do not close below your 8 exponential moving average, you're still long on this.
Mm-hmm.
So you would have caught most of that. From out of the gates all the way to the top, you would have caught most of that.
Okay. Yeah,
and then if you want to be extra smart, then you stick in my friend VWAP.
Yeah, let's see what VWAP would have done to this one.
And you'll notice that most of that move, the candlesticks are actually above VWAP, slightly above, but they're touching VWAP and tracking VWAP until about 10 o'clock.
I know I'm confusing you guys with all these colors, but VWAP, okay, so VWAP is that really bright yellow line. And as I can see, yeah, the stock is tracking VWAP.
So if it's not closing again below VWAP, that's another guide that tells you stay in the stock, especially during the first part of the day where you can see the price is almost at a 45 degree angle. Mm-hmm. And then when the 4 and the 8 catch the downslope, in fact, I think when you get out on the 8 exponential moving average, you actually have it crossing VWAP, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it does cross VWAP at about 12 o'clock. Actually, about 12 o'clock, they cross VWAP.
So you would have been exactly at around 12 o'clock thereabouts. So you would have stayed in that stock. If you want to use the VWAP strategy, you would be in that stock until about 12 o'clock, or actually specifically 11:50, where you see that big red candle closing below VWAP.
Right
so there are tons of strategies that you can use for this. And you see, if you have your Bollinger Bands there, you start seeing constriction of the Bollinger Band, I think, between 11:30 and 11:50. And then that constriction ends as the stock, when you get a bearish expansion, that's when it's dropping below VWAP.
I do see
that. So there's just an infinite number of ways that you could actually have gotten into the stock. You could have just used VWAP by itself. You could have used the Bollinger Bands, because the upper Bollinger Band in the first, let's say from about the open until 10 past 10, you were basically tracking the edge of that upper Bollinger Band all the way up, so it didn't actually break. Now, if you then wanted to stay in this stock even further, you could have waited until the price broke also the middle Bollinger Band, which happens to actually coincide again with the same candle at 11:50.
Yeah, for the 20-day moving average too.
Yeah, so for those, if you're brave enough to wait and just make sure that your trend is going against you, you wait until it breaks the 20. But if you're scalping, then you don't necessarily have to wait for it to break below the 20.
Yeah. Okay.
So those just in this one stock, I've described, I don't know how many different strategies, and when you put them together, it helps guide you. Yeah. I would say just if someone came to me and said make it as simple as possible, I would just use the 4 and the 8 exponential moving average and nothing else.
Yeah.
If you want something else, maybe use the 20 period simple, the 20 period moving average.
Yeah, for people who are watching, I could see to intraday trade, this probably would have taken a little bit more expertise. But again, to summarize how you found the stock, again, we go back to the daily chart, and I think this, I honestly like the way you found this on the daily chart. And again, we go back to 1 year, right? Well, actually, we went 1 day, 1 year. And as we can see here, where the 4 goes over the 8 and you found that doji pattern, this would have been your entrance when the 4 breaks the 8. Again, I think this is the simplest way to explain people, because I think the intraday part probably was a little bit more, requires a little bit more understanding of how the markets work. But
Absolutely,
but
yeah.
this right now,
And
understanding
you
this is a
always do
doji.
that, yeah.
Yeah.
You always do that yourself. Even on your show, someone will say, "What do you think of this stock?" You'll look at it at the 5-minute. You'll look at it at the daily.
Yeah.
You'll look at it at the weekly. Look at it at the monthly. Because as a trader, you must always have an idea of the big picture
yeah.
of what you're doing. Even though you're trading intraday, it's good to look at, okay, what has it been doing? One of your favorites is doing the 5-day, which is the same as the weekly.
Yeah.
What has it been doing over the week? Even if today is looking good, what was it doing, 5 days ago?
Yeah.
So that's really, really crucial, is have a big picture of what your security or stock is doing.
Yeah.
But if you're trading it intraday, then you can go from the daily chart to the intraday 5-minute chart.
Okay.
I've got one more example that
Go ahead.
illustrates
Let's do it.
And this would be, let's go to one that I'm predicting will be an early mover. So this is now trying to catch something that might move tomorrow, and we're catching it early.
Okay.
So this is SYRX.
SSYR. You said
Yes.
YR.
Yes, SYRX.
Okay, SYRX.
SYRX Global.
Okay.
Okay, so let's go to the daily chart where each candle is 1 day.
Okay, so I'm looking at the daily chart right now for 2017. Now this
Okay.
one, it's not showing your usual pattern.
Not yet. This is why I said we're trying to catch this one early before
okay.
the pattern exhibits itself, and we'll see tomorrow if it does.
Okay.
Let's look at the last 3 candlesticks.
Okay.
So we have a red candle followed by a doji.
Okay.
That dark candlestick followed by a green day. That three candlestick pattern is called the doji morning star. If it wasn't, it's called a morning star if your doji is more like a spinning top, which means it has more of a body but still has longer candle wicks on either side. But this is a doji through and through. It's not one of those spinning tops or anything like that. So this is what I would call a doji morning star. If you have a red candlestick followed by a doji that closes at the close of the previous day's red, it can even be lower. If the doji was much lower than that red candlestick, you would call that an abandoned baby. If that happens at the bottom of a chart and your next candle after the doji is green, it means you're into that stock. So anyway, that's just one of the candlesticks patterns. If anyone does, candlestick formations or patterns, those 3 candles form what's called a doji morning star. Anyway, so what you would have done here is when you saw the doji yesterday, and then today you see the green candle and it was a green day, you would get in for many reasons, because you would have identified the doji morning star formation, but also notice if you put your 4 and 8 exponential moving average in there, notice that your candle has crossed both the 4 and the 8
that
exponential moving average.
That is both. It is both.
And in fact,
the 4 and 8.
It opened at the 20 moving average, which is the middle Bollinger Band.
Right on top
then
of it.
It crossed, yes. So that's another positive sign that we're moving past the middle of the Bollinger Band. We're now going towards the upper Bollinger Band. Tomorrow will be confirmation for sure if we're going to start funneling and causing, into a bullish expansion. So I would preface this by saying if SYRX tomorrow, it has to notice the upper wick just fell short of the upper Bollinger Band.
Yeah.
So tomorrow, what you're looking for here for confirmation is to get in, I would say, at about 0.2945. If it gets even, you could even say, okay, get in at 30 cents, because that will be above that upper Bollinger Band.
Mm-hmm.
And when that happens tomorrow, you'll start seeing the funneling of those Bollinger Bands as you get bullish expansion. So we'll see if this starts the trend. If it breaks 30 cents tomorrow and holds at 30 cents, then that will be our continuation play even for Friday. Okay. But notice as well, the volume on the Doji was 118,000, and then today's green candle is at 1 million already. That's a huge jump.
Yeah, that's a big jump. I do notice that too. That's a huge jump. In fact, my colored bar indicator does see that's a big jump in volume for the stock, and it just kind of showed up out of nowhere. The last real news was almost a week or so ago in the stock. So yeah, that doji did bring in some smart money into the stock. I do see that.
And then extra confirmation, so you can go to Google Finance or Yahoo Finance or anything that shows after hours. We're at 0288. It closed at 0278. We're at 0288 after hours. So it's up 3.5% after hours, which is another good sign that you might get some movement. Mm-hmm. And then as a final confirmation, you could go to the 30-minute chart. Remember, I talked the other day about the last hour or the last half an hour of the day. If you see green candles, especially during the last hour, that shows momentum behind the stock.
Now here's
if you go to the 30-minute candle, 30-minute chart, what do you see? You see three green candles in the last 1.5 hours before close.
Yeah, I see here. This is the 30-minute intraday, and as you can see, as Bad Scientist said, the last hour and a half, you have three green bars. Nice.
Yeah, so that's my strategy. I had some picks, but for the purposes of time, let's just leave it at that. I can definitely VNR. Let's look at that tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Let's look at SYRX. There's another one, SCON, that looks like it might be moving as well.
Okay, SCON. We do remember SCON.
Yes.
SCON is another one.
It helps if it's a previous mover, if it's a runner from the past. Yep. It's always good.
Here's
because
SCON.
What you're doing is playing into behavior of.
Now, SCON is another one too, where I see here on the daily chart, big volume coming in today.
Yes.
Again, not a mover on news, but more look like a mover at least on technicals here.
On technicals. And then I'll just give you one OTC play, and that's going to be GNBT. So G as in girl, N as in nature, B as in boy, T as in Tom. GNBT.
All right, so GNBT OTC play, 22 million shares traded today. Wow, that's over 300%, actually 400% than its usual 5 million.
And you see, we're catching this one a bit late. We should have been in this one 2 days ago or definitely yesterday. So we kind of extended into that funnel, but we're only 3 days late. And as you know, from these OTCs, you can have 5 to 10 day green candles. It just depends.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yep. So those are my picks, and the other 4 I mentioned yesterday, those will be continuation plays for tomorrow. And let's see what happens. But sorry to take a lot of time, but
no, we appreciate you. We really appreciate you, Bad Scientist, and before you get off the air, because it sounds like you've been I don't know, studying some Steve Neeson or something like that. What are some of the resources you're using to study these candles? Are there any particular websites you go to study, to learn? For those people who don't know what a doji is, what a morning star is, or is there a particular website that you go to study this?
Okay.
I know you put out a torrent and all that, but for those people who haven't.
Your Bukowski, that's an excellent one. That's one of the most detailed ones I've seen.
The pattern site.
Before I had the privilege or the blessing of joining your show. Before that, I listened to this guy called Stephen Bigelow.
Okay.
Stephen Bigelow, and that's Stephen with a PH. He's on Twitter. He's on YouTube. He's the guy actually that introduced me to the 8 exponential moving average that he calls the T line or trigger line. Not many people actually know about this. Like they don't use it, but it's been proven, and either back testing, it's been proven to be a very good moving average to go with. The 8 exponential.
Stephen Bigelow.
Okay. Yeah. So you can. And then, you're talking about candlestick formation. He basically describes there are really, really only 12 formations that you should know. And that's 6 bullish and 6 bearish. That's all you need to know initially, and you'll be able to, to get by just on those 12. I wish I had a link to. I'll see if I can email you. I don't know, a PDF document. Maybe I can put it up on Discord or something. Yeah. But I'll definitely email you that PDF that describes those 12 candlestick charts or formations.
Okay. Yeah, definitely do that, man. We really appreciate that.
Yeah, and then there are people that I follow on Twitter who are just very useful to follow. You need to get real-time real-time news on a stock that's popping. So if you follow the right people on Twitter, you don't have to waste your time scouring through, data and all this other stuff. You just follow the right people, and normally they'll give you pre-market gainers or aftermarket movers or something like that. And all you need really at the end of the day is 3 to 5 stocks, and you focus on those. One of them is bound to pan out, right?
Right.
Yeah. So, that's all I use. Right now, I'm actually not getting any information from any books or anything. I tend to be very lazy, and I'm a very visual person, so I go to YouTube videos. If the teaching style of that person is to my liking, then I start seeing what other videos. Your boy Clay Trader, he's very good at daily charts and looking for support and resistance. Yeah. He doesn't really. He'll occasionally talk about different candlesticks formations. But for him, he typically uses the 30-minute chart and then looks for resistance and support. If you break resistance, you can buy into resistance as it's broken, or look for support and buy it at support. But those are a few people that, I follow. But right now I'm at a point where it's like I'm fine-tuning everything that I've learned, and I take what I need and formulate my own strategy moving forward. And it seems to be working pretty well for me, except for AUPH today.
AUPH turned against us. In fact, let me because I didn't look on that one, because I want to actually see when it goes wrong too. Because it's good to also talk about when it goes right, and that's what's so scary about trading outside the bands, because since I've really got on Bollinger Bands, I hate buying outside the bands. It's so scary because I know for a lot of guys who short, that's the blood in the water. And as you can see here for AUPH, it had a great it looks like it had a good morning. but then it fell on the roof. In fact, let me go back to the 1 day just to see. Okay, yes. So it had a good morning,
1 day,
right? It had the good morning, and it opened up, and again, they got killed toward the end of the day here, and that's why, when you have a stock that opens up so far over the bands, it can bring guys who good money, and then they shorten against you, and you get killed here.
But ultimately, when it goes over the bands, what goes up must come down. When it's really oversold, which it wasn't really oversold. Yesterday it went to about 73, an RSI of about 73. So if it starts going past 80, you start worrying and saying, okay, this might be a little oversold. Mm-hmm. But we've seen situations where RSI goes to 100. So just follow the trend regardless of what RSI is telling you. Follow the trend. Use your 4 and 8 exponential moving average. If you're brave, use the 20 simple moving average, and use those as your guide. And if the trend is up, the trend is your friend. Just stay in there. Yeah. And like I said, I'm only worrying about AUPH if it crosses the 8 exponential, which is at $2.68. Then I'll start to worry. But then again, one could argue, well, it can still kind of consolidate at the middle Bollinger Band, which is at 240. Okay. So it's all about what you're prepared to risk.
Yeah.
I'm prepared to risk only it going to about $2.68.
Okay.
Then I'm out.
So you believe $2.68 is the price, which is just above the 8 moving average, and okay, all right, we'll definitely see that.
Yeah.
We'll definitely have AUPH on watch tomorrow for a recovery, and hopefully that happens tomorrow in the stock.
Thank you, Sal. Thank you. I appreciate the time, and keep doing the good work.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much, Bad Scientist. Yeah, shout out to Bad Scientist, man. Took us to school there for about 30 minutes. Thank you so much. Again, this is information that guys are charging $200 a month for. We're giving it every night here on the show, absolutely free. And, we saw the good and the bad side of this stock here. And before I go into kind of explain that bull and bearish pattern here, let me go ahead and get Mr. Lloyd. Mr. Lloyd.
What's up, Sal? Hey, Beth, I just want to say I appreciate it, man, for Beth giving out the lessons.
Yes.
But I have to throw a little feedback in there because I know it's very easy to get caught up with these candlesticks as I've talked about them in the past. Now, everyone that's trying to use candlesticks, if you watch Steve Neeson's or watch Steve Bigelow, they're not playing OTC stocks, so you can't use the same method for if you see a bullish engulfing, which in the normal world, you think the stock is going to go up. But because there are market makers for the OTC, they can manipulate. Basically, you're going through the mall, and as you're going through the mall, you're looking through the window, shopping. Oh, I like those jeans in there. They're trying to attract you in to get your money. So you have to be very careful when you see candlestick patterns, because there's been many times where I've been caught, where I thought something was bullish, and I tend to focus too much just on technicals when you have to take the time to look at the news and see what is causing that. I mean, there may be some substantial news, or let's say you see a bullish engulfing and you get in, and all of a sudden, they had a bankruptcy. You wasn't paying attention because you're just looking at the chart. I think technicals are good, but they only work for certain markets, and I don't find any success with candlestick patterns in the OTC land, because it's and this is just my opinion.
Okay.
Like this one here, this AUPH that you have up.
Okay.
So if you go back down, I mean, even though this is an oversold area right now, but if you go back down about 5 or 6 candles, it looks like the same pattern but a smaller candle at the bottom. You really have to wait for confirmation for these candles before you really decide on what the pattern is. And the number one key, man, and the most important thing is volume. Volume is very important. If you're going to play these cheap stocks, float really makes a difference. Even though you see a bullish engulfing pattern, which looks good and it's supposed to go up, but if there's a 800 million and it's only 300,000 trading, then the likelihood of that stock moving the way you want to it's not going to happen. Even though it looks good, even though let's say you got a Lexus, brand new Lexus looks good, but when you sit down in it and try to start, ain't no motor in there. Yeah. So it's not going to go anywhere. So candlesticks are good. It's a tool. I just want everybody to remember, it's a tool to use along with everything else. And when you finally get the whole concept of trading, all this stuff will come together. I like Steve Bigelow. I like Steve Neeson. But people need to realize that they're not trading OTC, and they're really, I don't even think they're trading.
So you're saying this philosophy doesn't even, doesn't work for OTC stocks. You don't believe it works for?
No, I mean, it doesn't. I mean, because, for example, I see a bullish engulfing, right? Mm-hmm. Your boy Tim Sykes say, hey, you know what, let's short this shit tomorrow. He can go in and tell his crew to do that, and that bullish engulfing that I thought I was going to get in and make some money, now all of a sudden that I'm going down it. So you really, with the stocks that are under $5 or $10, you really have to look at Twitter. You really have to do research to see who's pumping it. But if you're playing with Amazon or Apple, that's when the candlesticks really matter. Because you're not going to have Blow Joe going up in there and buying, $20 worth of stock. I mean, you really have to put some money down. And, and I remember you making a statement a few years back about how your plan was to have us go against the machines. Yeah. So you're playing against the machines at that point. So I feel like the candlesticks work a lot better with my option trading instead of with the stocks under 5. Now, everybody has their own method. You have your own indicators. Everybody has their own thing. But I just want to warn people before they get caught up in learning all these candlesticks and they take their money and go to the OTC land. Remember, somebody with a large amount of money can manipulate that stock. At any given time, they can make that stock look good. And so once you put your money in there, it can go in a heartbeat because, your boy Tim, or what's the other guy, the Clay Trader. Yeah. All they got to do is send a message out. It's either it can go up or it can go down. So just don't get too wrapped up in the candlesticks. It's just a tool. It's like this candle here. Let me see. That is a potential piercing pattern, but you have to wait for confirmation. Right. Even if it goes down in a down day tomorrow, it doesn't mean that. I mean, it's a bearish signal. However, it can have some news to come out. So people, you can't get lazy. You have to take the time to look at the news before getting in. Just don't look at the candlestick and say, "Oh, below the VWAP. All right, here we go," and don't even look at the news. I mean, basically, you're just buying blindly. So, I'm just trying to. If you guys want to burn some money and just based off candlesticks, go ahead. But I'm letting you know where I've been.
It's very important that we get both sides of the argument. That's why I want you to let people know, hey, this could be a possible downside, and bad scientists let you know where this is where you can make some money. So, not bad. Now AUPH is a NASDAQ stock. So, we might be on the right side of things with this one, but I can definitely understand where you're talking about, stocks like, INNV or, CVSI. This probably doesn't apply to, stocks like that.
And look at that solid green candle right there as far as right before the red date today in AUPH. Yeah. Realistically, that stock's supposed to have stayed up with that much bull power going up. There's no wicks there. It was the bulls were in control that whole entire day, and so when you see this as a candlestick guy, you would automatically buy that and go along with it. I would have been pissed off today seeing that today because it shouldn't have went that way. So you can't get wrapped up in these candlesticks. If there was some magic way, everybody be using it. However, everybody has their own mix of how they do things, and then you pay for it, by getting their extra courses. So there's a lot of free materials out there. You really have to back test everything and find out what's comfortable for you. The problem with, the what's that one? He had another penny stock that was, what the heck was that one? It was like 005 or something like that.
USMJ.
And that looks pretty good too, man. That's a lot of money going into that stock.
Yeah, that's a lot of money going into that stock. USII was another one we had talked about. Another 0005 stock.
It wasn't. I can't remember. But basically, and Beth, yes, I hear you. The 4, the 8, and the VWAP, and yes, you're using candlesticks as well. However, you have to remember there's 3 different types of market. You have several types of viewers in here that are new, and so if we're focusing on OTC, this may not work well with the OTC. And I like to get wrapped up in this stuff too, but I don't think it works well. So people trying to take these tools to the hood, they're going to get robbed.
No, I understand. Ms. Whitley talking about price action is key. Yeah, that's what we're all trying to determine here is price action.
Right.
That's at the end of the day, that's all we're trying to do.
Let's take a look at that. I think that was the chart there, and I really didn't like ICLD just because
ICLD.
It looked flat. I mean, there's nothing there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. ICLD is what we're talking about now. Yeah. This is okay. Now that he's brought up this 1 day chart, I can see how he's absolutely right. When I look at ICLD now, although I looked at it and I was like, okay, we're trapped at a funnel here. You're saying there's nothing there. Basically, leave it alone. And we probably could be going lower.
Right. I mean, we're playing the trend here. I mean, if you're trying to catch the bounce off something, let it go first, then hop in. Don't sit in a dead pool of water and hope for the wave to come. Get in the wave. Don't. And nobody wants to buy at the top. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to buy at the top either. But I don't want to sit in no damn pool waiting on some imaginary wave to come through and let me hop on the wave.
Yeah.
So, I've been in enough dead stocks, for example, what was that, IMUC? I've been in, the gap down, and I sat in that shit for 5 months, going straight across.
Yeah.
And basically, this type of stock here is like throwing your money in the bank. It's just sitting there. So, it's up to you guys. I mean, if you're trying to make some quick money, this is not quick money. This is just buy and hold strategy and hope that some big ass news comes out for it to go to the moon. So I think when we give these plays out, we should give out price targets because it's essential to understand what people are planning on getting in at and getting out at because like I said, everybody's expectations are different. If I don't see ICLD moving at all, but Bat might think it may go to $1. So that's really important information. Especially sub penny plays, because a lot of people in here have hope that these stocks are going to go to the moon. And if you're investing $100 and Bat, like I said, put in $100,000, he's going to make money a lot faster than with your little $100. So so you got to really set your expectations. But I do have a play. VNR.
Yes, VNR.
We already talked about this?
Little bit, but no, but Bad Scientist brought it up. We this was the first stock we looked at that, fit his pattern. Again, we get the doji pattern, confirmation over the 20-day moving average, over the 4, over the 8, and now we're slightly outside the bands here with the large wick.
Let's keep our eye on this because you know what? It's going to be funny. You see how AUPH was today. They had that large-ass green candle there, and then that big-ass red candle tomorrow. So if tomorrow's an up day, then obviously there's something funny because that green candle should have had a straight update today. Mm-hmm. So if you got some little bitty ass candle, and then you have another update, obviously, there's some flaw to it, So, like I said, there's no perfect way, but Bat does have a point. You have to follow people that have a good reputation if you're going to look at stocks. But if you guys are going to study candlesticks, just remember it's just another tool for your box. I think candlesticks are very good to help you to get a visualization of how the market is moving. It basically tells a story, and without that story, you're just looking at the green and the red, and when the price goes up and when the price goes down, you're not looking what's behind the scenes. And I think looking at candlesticks gives a great understanding on how to see or what's going on with that particular stock. So a lot of people don't read candlesticks, but it can be flawed at times. That's why you have the indicators, Bollinger Bands, and news. So you have to combine all that together. Just don't get stuck with just the VWAPs or you have to put everything together and then back test your method. Get the TD Ameritrade on demand. I recommend everybody get TD Ameritrade. It's free. You can do the on-demand. Basically, go back and back test your VWAP to make sure if it's too high or too low, or your Bollinger Bands, or what type of moving averages works best for your method. And you can play it out. You can buy stocks and see how it works. And if you lose a lot of money, then you just need to adjust your method. So if I think that is a great tool to learn how to back test the stuff that you're learning, because you can learn all day and then throw your money in, and it may be a failure. So back test it. Anyways, man. So I'm not going to go on a rant, man. I love you, Bat. I really do, man. But I just want to make sure people don't get caught up just in reading candlesticks, because it can be when you watch these guys teach candlesticks, they're not doing anything under $5. So they're playing $30, $40 stocks.
Right.
So, anyways, that's all I want to say, man.
Appreciate it.
Ain't no problem, man. Hey, you know what? I do got a question I want to ask.
Go ahead.
So since you didn't have no Friday show, I need to ask you a question. So you live in a town that got a lot of churches?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, like any, it's probably Durham, North Carolina. It's probably 50-50, maybe 60-50, 60-40 black. So yes, for any predominantly black city, yes, we have way too many churches.
Right. So let me ask you this question. So when you bumping some music, it's probably some raunchy music you're supposed to be listening to. It's hot outside, you got the window rolled down. Next thing you know, you at a light, and you're right next to a church. During the week, okay. Would you feel guilty and turn down the music?
If I'm bumping it that loud, yeah, not
in front of the church. But I mean, you can go down the street and bump your music. But you ever look over to the left?
I wouldn't even notice. No, man, because I'm not even thinking that there's anybody in there, to begin with. So probably not, man. I mean, why? What happened?
Right. No. I just rode by the church, and I remember I think I had some Bone Thugs on. I'm looking over to the left. I was like, let me turn this down. Just that guilt feeling.
Yeah, out of respect for the church. No, I get what you're saying, but yeah, I wouldn't even had thought about that. But interesting thing that I get where you're saying though. I get what you're saying though.
I think is it possible you can make a video, man, as far as how to get set up with as far as this as a business.
Okay.
Because I really can't find anything on how to basically, start this up as far as the possible tax write-off. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. About first, if you remember when you started your account, you can start an account as a corporation. You can start as an individual investor. Obviously, you have to be incorporated in your state and have your little tax ID number from your state in order to start as a corporation. So it all starts with getting incorporated first, and then being that you already have an account, you can start a new account with your account as it is now as a corporation. You'll start trading under that, and then that goes into eventually once you get tax documentations from TD Ameritrade, you'll go to an accountant who specializes in working with small businesses and whatnot. But as of right now, I don't know if you incorporate it now, being that you weren't trading underneath a corporation's account. I don't know how that would work. But yeah, I would definitely can see myself making a video. In fact, I'm planning on making several videos about indicators starting off and then going into that, because I like what's his name, Sasha Endikoff or whatever he's doing. The guy doesn't even trade stocks. He's just made a ton of videos, which personally are basic as hell and doesn't really do a good job of explaining. And looked at some of the ways he's been doing things. I can do a little bit better. Can't offer probably the same quality of editing, but in terms of explaining things, I think I can do a lot better than him. And
I'm still, man, I'm losing my ass off. I mean, I am losing my ass off. I can't. The most I've made so far this year, I probably made about $900, but I lost probably about $1,800. So,
where are you losing at right now? What stocks are losing you money right now?
Well, I did a bad play on Netflix. I lost $1,000.
Okay.
Wrong. And two, if you guys,
that was an
learn your platform,
play,
because I didn't know the platform that well, and I clicked the wrong button. I'm glad I didn't short Netflix and bought the shares. It would have cost me like $30,000.
Shit. Now that was an option play, I'm guessing.
Yeah, that was an options play. You know what? I think over time now I'm going from OTC to NASDAQ plays to options. I'm gonna go back to, and I'm still playing. I'm waiting for one of those GDX moves. Remember that $6,000 that we was looking at?
Yep.
I'm still focusing on trying to find those, but I think now that I feel like I'm a little stronger with doing these NASDAQ plays, and just getting my $20, $100, $200 a week. I'm okay with that. So, but yeah, man. So what do you think about that marijuana play?
Marijuana play. Which one are you talking about?
USMJ.
USMJ. Okay, so USMJ. This is Bats thing again. I'm over here. And as you can see here, I mean, this is huge volume coming into this stock, as you said earlier. Again.
Now you see this candle, right? It's
this
the same.
Is huge, humongous.
It's the same exact setup as we've seen with AUPH.
Yeah.
So
this says buy. I mean, this says
right.
Buy all day, go for the swing.
Did you hear what you said? It says buy. That candle that I saw yesterday said the same thing, or AUPH said the same thing. That big-ass green candle said buy.
Very true.
So you would have got up in there, went to go have some lunch. Next thing you know, your ass is in the red because you saw that big-ass green candle. I don't know what the secret is. I mean, I feel like this is just like window shopping, man. You get, you see a pair of pants and it's like, oh, that looks good. And you know what? I'm going to buy. Just like you said, I'm going to buy that. And so you buy that, you walk out the store, and all of a sudden they got a hole up in there. So and you take it back. We don't take this back. You have no. You left the store already.
Yeah, all sales final. Yeah,
right. All sales is final. This shit's yours, and now you're holding the bag. So, and don't get me, I like it too, man. I like it.
Now, Mr. Lloyd, would you say that's more like sometimes, your indicators are not always 100%? It doesn't mean it doesn't work. Maybe it's just, that one particular time we saw it fail.
I spent several hours playing on demand. I'll pick some random stock and just try it out, see if I'm reading the candlesticks correctly, see if it works for OTC. I feel like my methods are working better for options. However, with candlesticks, it's strictly reading news, reading 10Ks. Is this a pump and dump? How much volume? You really have to do a lot of research to play OTC because there's so much risk. So, but I like this stock, and just like you said, it's a buy. So we should take a look at it and see how this big ass green candle impacts
I have a feeling we're going in kind of high though, man. Even though we'll see if this continues into the morning. Obviously, because it's kind of scary to buy the breakout. If it breaks over into 0010 territory, it could pull back here. So we'll see. I might buy the pullback instead, just to increase my probability of making some money on this. Just based on what happened today.
Right, and I'm seeing way oversold, man. But it's like, you have a lot of experience.
Overbought? You mean overbought?
I mean, overbought.
Mm-hmm.
But you have a lot of experience with the Bollinger Bands, and I know you've seen where even though it's at the top of the Bollinger Bands, you've seen it continue on and on, regardless. How far
where it hugs the bands and starts going on top of it. Yeah.
The band will follow that big ass green candle. So there's a lot of variations to determine. So candlesticks are good, Bollinger Bands are good, but I still haven't figured out what that magic key is. And I think I'm spending so much time trying to figure it out. I'm probably killing myself trying to do it. But anyways, so that's all I wanted to share today. And Bats, I love you, man. Everything is good. I think we can collaborate and work together and bring our knowledge together, man, and we can back test together. I mean, hell, you're a scientist. Shit, we need to do some experiments.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for the call, man.
All right, thanks, man. Have a good one.
Shout out to both callers, man. Both Bat Scientists, Mr. Lloyd. Awesome calls, guys. I mean, again, the information that people charge for, we give it away free here. Please just do me a quick favor and press like if you haven't already on this video. Great. Two guys that I just have so much respect for and so grateful for them to share their knowledge with us on a nightly basis here on the show. USMJ, again, he just mentioned that, look, sometimes these indicators just don't work on an OTC stock. So, of course, this chart says buy, but it's an OTC stock. This could be a dump, and just like he said, we could have a pumper tomorrow who just drops 20 million shares on the market, and it's a wrap for that. So again, don't look at what we said today as gold in terms of UCMJ, but for us really is AUPH. It didn't participate the way we expected to play today, but we're going to see what happens tomorrow on AUPH. He also mentioned that he would love to see price targets. He would also like to see price targets. And somebody already in the chat room mentioned your price target is typically your next resistance level. That's very, very true. All right. That's typically your next resistance level is your price target, your exit. All right. Typically your exit. So obviously we went down to 297 here. So we know that 355, 350, as we see here on the chart, would probably be your price target on AUPH tomorrow. All right. That could be a possible resistance for the stock. All right. Or we can go back to, if it breaks at 355, then we're kind of looking up here, maybe 409. Which was set back November 16th because we're above any other resistance levels in the stock. If we break 409, we're possibly looking at, wow, going as high as 490. I mean, this is a stock that can put up numbers. Not saying it's going to go to 490 tomorrow, but as I said, your price target is typically your next level of resistance. All right. Yeah, so ICLD, and going back to that, I want to beat a dead horse on ICLD, but I mean, looking at Bat's formula, maybe he's right. There's maybe, using, again, Bat Scientist formula, there's nothing here. But when we talk about OTC stocks, right, we like to see this kind of action because you expect the stock to move in between a funnel where, one day you're up, one day you're down, kind of the situation we're like in USII right now, but you're expecting something to happen eventually. But this could very well go down. We're still kind of high for an OTC stock. We're still at a penny, all right? And we know for a lot of OTC stocks, there's a lot of floor still left for us to build. So if we, break through 0174, then yeah, that's a very dangerous sign. But if we go higher tomorrow, then this could be a sign for support. All right. Could be signed for support. TNXP, I actually put that on our list to watch tomorrow. Let me go back to our usual here. And I think, is this Sinclair? Unknown number, you're on the line. What's up?
Yeah, Sal?
Hey, what's going on?
How you doing? How's going on, brother?
Good. Who am I speaking with?
It's Arnold.
Arnold. Is this Arnold in Landu?
Yeah.
All right, appreciate it, man. Thanks for the call. I'm guessing you got some stocks for us.
Well, me, I've been playing CHK. CHK been winning. I've been winning lots with CHK. Played it yesterday, played it today too.
Yeah, CHK is a stock that I've been following for some time. Because it's got some really cheap options when I was really looking really aggressively at the options plays for CHK. A lot of price ranges that it falls through for CHK. I'm looking at the price of natural gas. We're kind of sideways right now, and being that it's a stock that it really follows that commodity until I see natural gas break out, maybe possibly 370s or higher. CHK. I personally, for me, CHK, I'll leave that alone. But
seriously, leave it alone.
Well, I mean, again, I'm following the commodity that it's running for, which is natural gas. But you tell me why I'm wrong. What do you feel this is a stock to go long for here?
Well, I've been playing this for 2 months now, and I've been constantly winning. Like, I know there's one rule that they say, never fall in love with a stock, but CHK, for me, I think I'm in love, man, honestly. It's crazy.
Now tell us, I mean, what is it? I mean, do you feel natural gas prices are going higher? What are you doing to catch these runs? Because like you see here, then the stock when it gets pretty low on the RSI, on this time.
The thing is, I believe that the fact that Donald Trump is up there, a lot of things are going to go up. Okay. First thing, there's that Dakota pipeline that he approved it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one thing you know for sure that all the oil gas companies are going up. Right now, I'm actually looking at Trinidad Drilling. It's one company that I worked for when I used to be in Alberta.
Okay.
And right now, it's really, really low, Trinidad Drilling. I think it's at 310 right now. But once that Dakota plan is accepted and everything is set to go, it's going up. Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
Yeah, I see on CHK, ever since November of the election, I do see this was definitely a Trump stock. It took off here at basically 5 to a high of almost $8, $8.20. So it's pulling back a little bit, but you think this could possibly move higher to retest that $8 high?
I'm pretty sure it's going up, and Trinidad Drilling stock too is going up. That's definitely going up. Definitely.
Yeah, the last 3 days here we have broke the 4.8 as well as the 20-day moving average. Nice large wick there too. So you might have something here on CHK. We're still within the bands, which are pretty wide. So, and again, CHK is a mover. So you might have something here, man, here on CHK for the future here. The last couple of days looks very good on the stock. It has definitely these last this week of trading in CHK did break overall 2 weeks. 2 weeks momentum for sure in the stock. As we can see here, we failed to break 4 and 8, but obviously we did do that today with the large move to 713. Not bad.
Yeah. But anyway, Sal, by the way, I'm always late to your podcast. So what time does it start?
Oh, man, we typically start anywhere between 8:30 to 9. So but just expect me between 8:30 and 9. My show's supposed to start at 9 today. I think I was actually right on the dot at 9. But I know
Eastern or Western?
Yes, Eastern Standard Time.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
8:30.
Hey.
8:30 Eastern Standard Time. Expect me.
Thank you very much, man. I really appreciate what you're doing. I've been trying to live off stocks lately.
Mm-hmm.
So thanks a lot, man. Your advice is helping me out, man. Thank you very much, brother.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much, Arnold. And continue to participate in the chat room, man. Appreciate it.
Okay. Thanks, brother.
All right. So that's Arnold and Landu. Appreciate that. I recognize him from the from the chat room. I pretty much memorized most of you guys' names, so in the chat room. But yeah, the exit would be 761. Well, some people might be able to say even as low as 726 tomorrow, but that was our top today. Was 726. So if we break out of that, then 761 is your price target. All right, that was the next level of significant resistance, was 761. The 52-week high is 820, and I guess I can't. And he's right when we talk about this whole pipeline deal, and a lot of stocks are running based on this whole pipeline situation. A stock that I had mentioned, on my Twitter account that was pure fraud. I mean, this company's a fraud. This stock has absolutely nothing going for it. The company has no operations that I can find at all. PTRC, and the stock ran today 18%. The stock ran today 18%. I was hoping to God that to get a short on this stock, and I funded my sure trader and everything, but I couldn't take a position today because it opened up, pretty strong. It opened up pretty strong, as you can see here today, PTRC. And again, this is a company that's sending out emails, well, Donald Trump and deregulation and blah, blah, blah. And, investors are buying the hype. Investors are buying the hype. So, I won't underestimate the whole pipeline situation. You got a lot of oil companies that are running on it, and it is what it is. It is what it is, okay? What's that name of that book where we talk about the mania of investors? It's a good book, by the way. 919 Bats, is this you?
Yes, it is. I feel I need to defend myself against the assault.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Mr. Lloyd's a good guy, and he definitely always plays devil's advocate. Definitely, you need to be very careful with, especially if you're a beginner getting into stocks. You really have to do your due diligence. But if everyone was listening to my strategy and what I do, so if you asked me, if you're using candlesticks, what do you look for? I can give you a strategy for that.
Okay, yeah, give me.
If you say you don't want to use candlesticks, I can also give you a strategy for that. If you want to use a combination of candlesticks with something else, so if you want to use moving averages, I've got a strategy for that. So I just want to be clear, because I think if Mr. Lloyd was listening from the beginning, I actually talked about many different strategies, some of them using candlesticks, others not using candlesticks, using the VWAP, 8 exponential moving average, 4 exponential moving average, and Bollinger Bands. But ultimately, whether you're using candlesticks or not, whatever technical you use or whatever, it's all dependent on price action. It's dependent on an opening, a close, a high, regardless of, of whether you're using candlesticks or not. So I just wanted to clarify that. So, and then he mentioned a catalyst, like something like listening to or following a catalyst like news playing. Okay. That's also another strategy, but technical trading does not necessarily have to use news. You can also just look at the technical pattern and then just get into that trade based strictly on the technical. In fact, the 4 picks I gave you yesterday, I didn't even look at the news. But once again, news is there for confirmation. So in the same way that I said, okay, if you have a 4 or 8 exponential, maybe you want confirmation on the VWAP, using the VWAP. Maybe you need confirmation using the 20 simple moving average. But the point is, I can trade without candlesticks or candlestick formation. And I think I've actually, ad nauseum or at length, have described using the 4 and 8 exponential moving average, and that has nothing to do with candles. In fact, you could give me a chart with no candles at all. Just give me one of those line depictions without the candlesticks, and this would still work. Okay. So, but the key, especially in the half an hour of what I said to you, is I'm using a combination, and that's the key. I'm using a combination of candlesticks. I'm using a combination of moving averages. I'm using also Bollinger Bands, which actually, I brought to people's attention with my 4 picks yesterday, and that's how we initially, discussed. So I totally agree with Mr. Lloyd. And the other challenge I have with Mr. Lloyd is, yes, he's doing options right now, but for someone who's looking for a strategy or looking for something to do, he mentioned specifically that with OTC plays, maybe some of these averages don't work. I beg to differ. For me, they're working quite nicely. And if a trade goes against you, I mentioned, for instance, like AUPH. If that one right now, which is at 297, if that one closes to 268, which is below or at the 8 exponential moving average, then I'm out. Yeah. But I have support or stop losses that I consider, and I mean, like, I could have gone for hours, talking about this. So the take-home message in this is, yes, it's not just about candlesticks, neither is it just about moving averages, but the key is you follow different people or you read different books, is you take what's useful to you. Right. It's almost like when your parents, raise you, you look at the bad sides, the bad aspects of your parents, and you'll say, no, I'll discard that. You look at some good attributes of your parents and you say, well, that I like, let me take that, let me not take that, let me take that. So in the same way, when you're looking at trading, ultimately you're trying to come up with your own strategy and not copy anyone. Even though I followed Stephen Bigelow and his candlesticks, you'll find that my strategy is actually a combination of many different strategies that I formulated to make into my own strategy. So at the end of the day, if Mr. Lloyd, for instance, doesn't think that candlesticks work for OTCs, maybe that may be the case, but I also use 4 and 8 exponential moving averages. So I just wanted to clarify that, because he seemed to give the impression that I just use nothing but candlesticks, which is far from the truth, because I use Bollinger Bands, I use exponential moving averages. But, what people must take from this is find something that works for you and keep practicing on that one setup. Like, for me right now, the setup I described to you, that's what I'm practicing with every day, back testing it, forward testing it if I can. Let
me touch on one thing, and not to cut you off, Bad Scientist. I just want to touch on one thing that Mr. Lloyd mentioned, was that this strategy wouldn't work for OTCs, preferably an OTC stock that's running. It'd probably be a good way to find one that's in that sweet spot where we're looking for one that's particularly dead or, that's slowly waking up again. But for an OTC stock that is, in running at this current moment, that it wouldn't work. What do you say to that?
Well, that's the thing. Okay, well, if Mr. Lloyd is saying it doesn't work, what works then? Because I have my strategy that works. I told you, I told everyone in the chat room I use the 4 and 8 exponential moving average in combination with Bollinger Bands. So, yes, if you're saying candlesticks don't work, then nothing of what I've just described has anything to do with candlesticks.
Right.
And I mean, for starters, and maybe I should have prefaced exactly what I do normally trade, because I normally trade NASDAQ, I trade NYSE. So to that, I don't trade double zeros, triple zeros, quadruple zeros. I trade anything above a cent.
Yeah.
So that's something else that I guess I just didn't have time to, to talk about, what price stocks I trade, but I don't trade. So even though the USMJ that we were talking about, yes, on a technical basis I would trade it, but I would never trade a triple or quadruple zero stock.
Yeah.
I only trade from 1 cent, and maybe, at double zeros or triple zeros, none of my stuff works, but all I'm asking is for people to go back, look at the 4 and 8 exponential moving average, look at the 20 simple moving average, just back test it for yourselves and see if it works or not. It works for me, certainly, but it might not work for everyone. And then, if you want to use candlesticks, which I love candlesticks as well, as much as I love the moving averages, you can, and the Bollinger Bands, then you can use those as, I also use RSI. So RSI will also give me direction on my Bollinger Band. It will also tell me, like USMJ, that we're going into an oversold condition, because I believe it's somewhere between 75 and 80. I'm always wary about that. If I'd had more time to talk about my strategy, I would have told you, in addition to that, I pick stocks that are RSI less than 20, ideally, or shoot for something that's RSI 50. So these are additional things.
So RSI less than 20 or RSI below 50, preferably to go long in.
Yes.
So you actually like coming in before the volume, because obviously, when we haven't, a volume, RSI and volume are pretty sensitive to each other. And when heavy volume comes in a stock, RSI tends to respond with that, below, above 50. So you would actually be coming into a stock when, it's pretty much, as basically with no momentum.
Right. And that's for like early moves, like
for early moves, right.
SCON. But then again, Mr. Lloyd mentioned volume, which I totally agree, which I've totally addressed in all of my phone calls into your show, which is you're trying to get a stock that's increasing in volume. That volume has to be above 500,000. So, as much as I love what Mr. Lloyd has said, I have an answer to every single thing that he's basically, I guess, that he has reservations for in my style of trading. The one thing I would say, yes, okay, so, and Mr. Lloyd said candlesticks may not work. He didn't give us solutions. He didn't say what does work. He didn't say what he uses specifically. But it may be if he could share with the rest of us what his strategy is, then we can, look at both strategies and look at the pros and cons of both. So, once again, I just want to make it clear that when I look at a stock and pick a stock, there's so many things I'm looking at, and what I described in the first half an hour was a snapshot of what I look at, not just candlesticks, but I use candlesticks as well. So I use RSI, in recap, RSI, Bollinger Bands, exponential moving averages, simple moving averages. I use candlestick patterns. And all of these, if all of these are in the right formation and confirm each other, then that even makes my pick more of a high probability pick. All I want to say to conclude is that when you're trading, what you're aiming to do is not to always be right, because you can't be right with all your picks.
Yeah.
You're supposed to, minimize your risk, but you're also supposed to pick the high probability picks that you think will give you some sort of a positive result.
True.
And that's why typically I'm not a fan of swing trading day to day, because I believe if you just make 10 to 15%, the one guy you talked about, Sasha Edvokov, the former Russian guy who moved here with his mom, I follow him as well, by the way, and he does nothing. He hates doing penny stocks, like trading penny stocks. Yeah. He's a big swing trader, and he picks all the big companies like GoPro and Netflix, and all those guys. But he's forced to teach penny stock trading because that's what a lot of people want.
That's where the demand is. Yeah. Bad Scientist, thank you so much, man. Appreciate it. Again, man, I'm so grateful for you and the knowledge you bestow upon us, man. I'm so grateful, man. Thank you so much for the call.
All right, thank you, Sal. Take care. Good night, all. Bye.
Thank you so much again to everybody. I'm going to put out a list of what we've talked about today. I know you guys hate it when we go over 2 hours, so I try to keep it under 2 hours, but people keep spitting the knowledge. I just want to keep it going. You know what I mean? Because anything we can use to get better, I want to hear it. I want to hear everything we can use to get better. And all those guys, again, you learned something new today. I wasn't using the daily chart like that. Using the 4 and the 8 on the daily chart is something he had mentioned quite often, but to actually see how it's implemented, that works really, really, really good. That works really, really good. All right, so I don't want to continue to go back and forth, but I see Mr. Lloyd is on the call. And again,
man, I didn't want to call back, but you said you wanted to hear some more knowledge, and I didn't want to spend everybody falling asleep over here. So I was like, you know what? I'll just leave my comment for tomorrow. I mean, hell.
And Bad Scientist, go ahead and load that on the Discord, which you said you were going to load up. But yes, Mr. Lloyd, what did you want to add to the discussion?
I will just
real quick.
I will try to make my response as short as far as
real quick, please. Because I got some other calls.
What I use, and unfortunately, there's me telling my method may not work for the person there because my work schedule is tied to how I trade. And so if I tell you how I trade and you try that way, it may fail you because I have a certain time that I trade. And so if it's not within that window of time of your schedule, it will fail you, and then you will look at me and call me a shitbag for giving out bad information. Mm-hmm. So there is like you've been trading for years, Sal. If there was some magical wand indicator that people would pay
I wouldn't have a YouTube show. I can tell you that right now.
Right. And Chase, I ain't gonna be on the phone too much longer, man. But I just want people to know, and that has a point. You have to find your own style, what works for you. There's a lot of people out here that has their own videos, their own channel, taking your money to show you how they trade. However, they're sitting at home all day while you working in the bean factory, and your money's dropping because you're looking at a bullish engulfing pattern that's oversold. And Tim Sykes went in there and robbed you of it because he told his people to go take it down. So it for OTCs, I think you gave out great information by getting the I forgot that man's name now. The man that talks real slow.
Bad Scientist?
No, nice.
No, I'm saying that respectfully. Who talks real slow?
No. The video. I said the video of Tim Sykes.
Oh, Michael Good. Michael Good.
Yes, now you
Michael
said
Good.
Bad Scientist. See, Bad, I didn't say that, okay?
I said that respectfully, but I like the fact that he talks slow and you understand what the hell he's saying. But Michael Good is Michael Good. And for those of you guys who don't know, Michael Good is on the How to Read SEC video, and it's probably the most boring video on trading I think I've ever watched. But yes, go ahead.
Right, and that is the most beneficial tool for OTC. because you learn on how to read through the bullshit that people say on Twitter. Because when you're new, you're enticed to throw $500 and $600 in a double 00 or triple zero stock because they're saying that it's going to go to 25 cents when they're already in before you, and so they're trying to pump you up to get that stock up. Yeah. So they can get your money and leave, and now you're stuck with the bag. So you really have to read 10 Qs to kind of figure out, okay, this is the potential price target for this stock, because you can't really tell for sub-penny stocks on where it's going to go, especially when it's in the sub-penny land. And that's always been the question I ask you. You know, what's the expectation that I should have for UMCJ or UMJ, whatever the hell that stock is, USMJ? Yeah. You know, because when you see that sub-penny stock, I'm thinking, okay, should I take my money out at 1 penny? Should I take it out at 25 cents? Because there's a guy on Investors Hub right now that's saying it's going to 25 cents. Yeah. How did he come up with that? Did he just close his eyes and say, hey, this is going to 25 cents? Yeah. So, you know, I can't figure out a price target for these sub-penny plays. So I'm still learning that, and if you have some type of way of explaining how you get out of these sub-penny plays, I guess is where you feel comfortable with your profits. Right. And if you let it go too long, you might lose everything. So you might want to take that $50 or that $100, or you might lose every damn thing. So, anyways, man, I ain't gonna beat a dead horse. With the Nasdaqs and anything under 5, you really have to look at the float, the chart, and Twitter. If you're doing options, I think mainly it's technical, because you are going against the machines. Yeah. But however, back test everything that you do, and I'm done for the night.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much, Mr. Lloyd. All right. So we had some people who wanted to call up before we end the show here. 336-347-803. Whoever calls back faster, I'll get you on the air. We'll make the next few calls pretty quick. You want to throw some tickers here for the people? 803 is on the line. 803, you're on the air. What's up?
Hey, how you doing?
Doing good. Who am I speaking with?
I'm doing pretty good. So I got a quick question for you.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm 18, and I've got $500, and I've been watching all these videos about Tim Sykes and stuff, and it looks like a scam.
And what's your question? Hello? 803, you there?
Oh, yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
So do you think it's a good idea to start investing at 18 with $500? Like doing this trade, doing these quick trades, these penny stock trades, is it worth?
At 18, honestly, if I can go back, 10 years ago now, and do trading, I would probably start with some paper trades. Really, get your lingo down, get the language down, find an indicator you really like and get comfortable with it. It would all be about spending, 18 to probably 20 about learning what exactly this is, because your mind is still so young, so fresh. You can obtain new and all this new information that you can put into your mind for hours on hours. So it'd all be about learning, man. So, with the money you have right now, get yourself a little job, continue to build it. But on the side, continue to learn. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't even be trading at 18. I see people all the time. I'm 16, I'm 17, I want to trade. Dude, spend those early years just learning, man. Spend those early years learning, so that when you have a couple years of knowledge under your belt, you can turn around and now you're starting your account with, with 5,000, 10,000, who knows what, the type of money you can bring in over the course of a year or two. But I would spend my early years learning, and I wouldn't have to be paying for that knowledge. There's so much free knowledge available on YouTube, on all over across the internet, PDFs, books, libraries. It's all about really just having the desire, and if you're inspired enough to do it. But again, I would spend my 18 years, 18th birthday, 19, 20, just learning. Okay. Why lose money? I mean, why waste that opportunity where you can go out here and work, get your money up? You're probably living with your parents right now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean, you're living with your parents, man, and stack your money up, man. Stack your money up and just learn. Just learn for right now. But I wouldn't pay for Tim Sykes at your age. I just wouldn't. There's so many free stuff out there. Free videos. Join our Discord room. We give torrents. We give half of Tim Sykes' stuff here away for free all the time. So all his early stuff, which is the best stuff he's putting out right now, honestly, man, I've been following that guy for a long time. I personally think it's trash. But right now, just study and learn, bro. Just study and learn.
And one more question, too. Yeah. So a lot of times I see on these videos of Tim Sykes and other people's content where they show their wins and they show the way it feels and, stuff like that. But, like, taking a big loss and stuff like that, what goes through your mind when you take a big loss, and how do you feel, and how do you stay motivated to keep going after you've taken, like, huge losses like that?
Well, I believe in, and you can Google this, there are a bunch of articles on this. It's called Trading Like a Ninja. There are a bunch of articles, or Trading Like a Samurai, excuse me. And one thing about a samurai is that a samurai, their number one goal is always victory. But they also understood that in every battle was a potential to die, right? And they were willing to die in every situation that they went in when they went into battle. So when I take a loss, it's just another trade for me. It's not nothing I mope over. I don't stop trading for 3 days. I don't have I trade like a samurai. If I lose that, I accept that loss and I continue to move forward. I have my stop losses, Rich, so I make sure that I set my stop loss, which is typically at support, or maybe sometimes just below support. But I accept the loss. I accept the loss and continue and move on to something else, because I know my strategy isn't perfect. No strategy is perfect, because that person would be a billionaire. So I expect to lose. That's part of trading. But again, when you trade like a samurai, you accept victory and defeat. So you just keep it moving.
All right, man. Thank you. I'm looking better to be able to call, man. Thank you for your advice, man.
Appreciate it. Thanks for the call, man. Thanks a lot.
Absolutely.
All right. So, and you guys know I'm not no superstar trader, but I can bestow a little advice on people. Been at it now almost 5 years, and I'm addicted to it. I love it. And this show has only increased my knowledge, and I hope it has yours too, as well, as we continue to share with each other. 347. What's going on?
Sal, what's up? It's Jamal Lewis.
Hey, Jamal Lewis. What's good for the call, man?
It was time. You got like a hotline going tonight, man. It's so hard to get in.
Oh, yeah, man. The lines are getting packed now, man. We're getting up there. Appreciate it for being a long-time listener, bro.
No worries. I just wanted to call in because I just heard everybody calling in and talking about the strategies and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I just had to get in and throw my 2 cents on and tell you what I've been dealing with and making money on.
Okay.
So I learned the hard way playing those OTC stocks, those 000 stocks.
Yeah.
So I lost money on those, and then I recently got into what's this stock? ICBD, I think it was. It's the one with Christy Brinkley.
Okay, that's ICBN, I think, right?
Yeah.
Iconic
so
Brands.
ICND, yeah.
ICND, yeah, that's right. Iconic Brands.
The last time I called in and told you about it, and it was like at 0016, and it was like it like touched 16 and it dropped down to like 0005.
ICNB.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, I'm out of this. This is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
But I was looking at it, and it kind of like hit three things for me. It had news all the time.
Yeah.
Like every week it had news on a Friday. And there was a ton of buying on it, and the Bollinger Bands were just like tightening up. So in my head, I'm like, this has got to pop. I don't understand why this is going. When I got out of it, I was like, whatever. I turn around, the damn thing is at 01225 or whatever and climbing. So after that, I just was like, all right. I kind of figure out what I need to do. So the stock that I'm in right now is ISBG, and it's pretty much got the same flow. It's a beverage stock.
Beverage stock too, yep.
And it's got the same kind of deal as the Christy Brinkley thing, minus her behind it. Mm-hmm. And I got in on this on Friday at 0008, and it's doing a steady climb. and it's been doing the same thing that the Christie Brinkley stock had. It's reporting on new revenue, restructuring convertible debt.
Yeah.
Earlier tonight, it talked about how it retired over 65% of its notes.
Yeah.
So I'm like, this might be another one. And I hear that you guys are talking about where do you get out in regards to a stock like this. So with me, I didn't really spend that much money on it. I mean, I got in at, I think I bought in at like $120 or something like that, just to see what I could do with it.
It's a penny stock. You don't want to put up too much money.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, right now, the biggest resistance for me was 15, was 0015, and it broke that today.
Broke that, yeah.
So right now, I got it at 4 more levels that it has to break for me to say, okay, well, the next level it breaks for me, it would be like, if it crashes after it breaks this, I have to get out. Mm-hmm. But the next level I think it can go to is 0023, and then after that, the next resistance is 0032. After that, 0041, mm-hmm. and then the sky's the limit. After it breaks 0050, everything's a go. And you're probably wondering how I came up with those resistance levels. Well, I just went back to the last time it spiked this high, which was 2014, 2015, around the same time period of January, February. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing. So it's retracing its steps all over again. Mm-hmm. Those are the resistance level I see that this thing can go. I mean, if anyone's interested to get in now, I do think that tomorrow it'll go up a little and come back down and try to resettle a new base around 17, 15 again, mm-hmm. and then take off again.
This is really interesting because this is a stock that's gone to as high as 2 cents a share from 0014 before. I see here on this 5-year chart here on 2015, they put up some insane gains. I mean, the stock is already up. I mean, let me see here. The stock is already up. I mean, if I look at just where it took off from December 27th, all right, from December 20, actually from that last week of Christmas week,
right?
You're up 1,400%, man. You're up almost 1,400% in the stock because it was a 0001 stock. This was a 0001.
Yeah. It didn't release news until probably 12 days ago. Like the 13th of January.
That's
where it
insane, man.
Said,
a 30-day gain of 1,400% in 30 days?
Yeah.
Wow.
And it wasn't until last week, Friday, where it said, hey, we restructured 75% of our convertible debt. Yeah. Where that Friday morning, I was looking at it like around 9:40, 9:50, saying if I should get in at 0006. And then as soon as that news came out, I started putting my order. Damn thing shot to 0008. And I was like, oh man. But I'm gonna ride it out. Like I said, 0023 is pretty much where I want to take my profits, but I think it can go another 3 levels after that. Mm-hmm. And I think it's definitely, if it keeps releasing news, positive news about restructuring. It's the next big news I think that they can say is that they're going to buy back some of their shares or something like that. I think that'll skyrocket the stock. Okay. But they're heading in that direction. I mean, if they ever get a face to this thing like Christie Brinkley, I think the same thing will happen.
Okay.
It'll skyrocket. And I search for these stocks on OTC markets.com.
OTC markets, okay.
Yeah, I go on the closing market. I forget what it's like, market activity, and then mm-hmm. closing summary. Mm-hmm. After that.
Now, what are you looking for on the closing summary? Are you looking for like unusual volume? Like, I mean, for you to be able to find this, because I mean, I would have loved, because I really just started talking about the sweet spot and finding sweet spots in stocks, and I love this when I just see. Again, a stock that isn't doing anything, that's been a previous runner, and it can be pumped again. I would have been all over this ICBG, and I would have loved to have been able to take advantage of those gains. We're in USII, which is a very similar play right now, but ICBG, man, a huge run for you.
Yeah. I mean, there's a couple of things I use. The OTC closing summaries on the market activity is what I use. Mm-hmm. And what I do is on closing summaries, you have an option to go all markets. I just go OTC Pink. Mm-hmm. I click that and walking through it now. And then I go to advanced as I click all, and then I click see more. After I do that, I'm basically looking for the price to say, doubles, 0003, 0004. Okay. After that, I'm looking at share volume. Okay. I don't want too much share volume. I don't need I think 3 million or whatever like that. I'm looking for something that's like 500K, 1 million, 17 million. Okay. They're looking for how many trades were made on the day, or at the end of the day. Okay. Once I see those things align, I'm like, okay, this thing had 8 million shares today, or 17 million shares today, or whatever, and had 147 trades. This is interesting. Then I start looking at what kind of news it has. If it doesn't have any news, I might put in a bigger size, like buy more shares, because I know it's only going to go a certain limit. Right. If it does have news, like this beverage stock right now, mm-hmm. then I'm like, okay, it has news. Let's check out. I use 3 studies. I use the Bollinger Band, I use the MACD, and I use the RSI. And once I start taking a look at those and seeing the bands are tightening up, where the RSI is on it, mm-hmm. where the MACD is on it, if it's crossed, then I'm like, okay, this is looking interesting. Mm-hmm. That's how I do it with that. The other stock I'm looking at right now that I missed out on that can still run is TXTM.
TXTM. I remember somebody, TXTM, bringing that up. TXTM Protex Mobility. Up 27%. Biotech play.
Yeah, it's a scary biotech play. I don't like playing biotechs.
Now this one hasn't ran before, so it looks like a pretty new stock.
Mm-hmm. I don't know where.
What do you like about this one?
It had the same kind of deal, hovering around 3, and it shot up to about 7 or 8, mm-hmm. and it came right back down, crashing. And I think this is more of a technical play because it just the resistance level was 0010, mm-hmm. and now it's up to it touched 0016. Yeah. So right now I'm looking at this more of a technical play. If it comes back down, I think we kind of missed the boat on this one. Yeah. But these are the type of stocks I'm looking at. And the newest stock I have that I think is in the midst of a similar run is PJET, TJET.
Now, PJET, I know PJET. That is a stock. That is a stock that has ran before. I am very familiar with PJET. Okay. And let's go to that. That's this PJET was an insane this summer. It was pretty insane. But PJET, this is a stock. I know you got a lot of people at the bottom here on PJET. But not bad. What do you think PJET is up to here?
I think PJET. I know they released news before the end of. They released some type of revenue news before the end of the year, mm-hmm. and I know they haven't released any type of substantial news since early last year around this time. But mm-hmm. this is a technical play to me mm-hmm. that I feel like can get up to 14 and maybe over 16. Mm-hmm. I'm going to do some more research on it, but I feel like this can run as well. This can get to at least 0031. Okay. Or probably even push it. Well, I say 031 to max, 0027. And it depends on your share size on what kind of, percentage back you can make back on that.
Okay.
Yeah, but these are the OTC plays. I mean, if you want to put in, a little bit of money, if everyone's playing with a little bit of money, like $100, $200, or even 40 or 50, and you just want to risk that much, always look for the bottom guys. Always, because these things have a tendency to shoot up, hit its resistance mark, and crash right back down.
Yeah.
That's what the Christie Brinkley stock did, and that's how I got caught up on that. And these things crash right back down, and if you're using a Bollinger Band, the last Bollinger Band at the bottom, that's pretty much where the floor is. Wherever that band lies is pretty much where the floor is with these guys, and it could take off from there.
Now, what was the stock you talked about just before PJet?
Oh, that was TXTM.
TXTM. There we go.
Yeah.
All right.
And that had a lot of volume today. That had an extreme amount of volume.
I'm going to watch that at all, too. Do you happen to have a stock that you're watching that you think could do something but isn't doing anything at all right now?
Let me see.
I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot there, but because it's weird how some of you guys will just bring up a stock, and then all of a sudden it wasn't doing anything, hasn't been doing anything, and then you're like, oh, I'm not sure about it, but then again, that's the one that runs.
Right now, my watch list.
For me,
I got Herb, which is HEB.
HEB.
I don't know what this can do. I don't know what this can do. This could. It's like I said. It's touching the lower band.
Yeah, very bearish right now. Yeah, very bearish momentum. Probably still got some meat to shed on that bone.
Yeah. This is something where I think it's the MACD is touching, and I think that it can go up if it has any type of news. I've had this on my list for the beginning of the month, and it's been releasing news every week, and it hasn't released anything this week. And it's just been falling down. I'm like, something's going to have to pop with this, because it's one of these stocks that I keep my eye on that has what's the word I'm looking for? Like the ownership of the stock, it's pretty good to me in terms of it has a market cap of 17, 18, and the float is at 23 million. The outstanding share is 25. That's the kind of range I look for in terms of ownership, and then the debt to equity is under. There's more debt. There's more equity than debt on this.
Yeah.
On this stock. So I feel like any type of news, this thing skyrocket. Just like VNR. Did that take off today? I think VNR did take off today. Yeah,
VNR is definitely on our watch list for today. Interesting to see the stock, this EHEB. It did break the 4 today. We'll see here. That's a pretty long wick, so we do still have a lot of people who don't agree with this slight turnaround here, but we'll definitely watch each HEB on the list for tonight.
The reason I say that is because I'm doing my watch list before I called you up to start listening to the show, and that stock, Herb and IPHON, they pretty much they pretty much have like the same kind of deal going on, and I'm thinking just like IPHON, HEB can do the same thing if it has any type of note.
We didn't even touch on IPHON. This was I want to say the second biggest gainer on the market today too on IPHON.
If you had these like Herb, IPHON, it's another stock that I like, SYMX. That took off. That's been on my list for a while. I just didn't play it today for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And that's been on my watch list that ran. Give a quick look over here. I don't really have anything else on my watch list that I see it doing anything. But yeah, definitely. Oh, wait a minute here. If NURO, if that has any type of news, that could pop as well.
What was that? What was that ticker? FURO? Hello?
N-U-R-O.
Oh, N-U-R-O. Okay, N-U-R-O. N-U-R-O. And Bill Betts, I saw your message, Bill Betts. N-U-R-O, 73 cents a share. I like the stocks you pick too. I see you dabble in the OTC stuff, but also the cheap NASDAQ stuff too. That's pretty stable.
Yeah.
Not bad.
I haven't graduated to like the $1 to $5 yet, so I'm just
no. I mean, this is where you can make big money in these plays right here, especially NASDAQ. Everywhere between like 30 to like 70 cents. I mean, you can make really, really good money if you time it right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So I do see here it had found that support at 61 cents. And was pretty much funneling through there,
right?
And we'll see how this holds. As he was very, very bearish.
Yeah, it collapsed, and I think these are the type of stocks where I see the company kind of restructured itself. It has more equity and debt, low shares. There are people in the company that own it. There's a low float. So any type of news that these stocks have these stocks explode. From where is the stock at 73 cents?
Yeah.
They could easily get to 94 if anything good happens, or if it just breaks. If it just has a technical breakout,
Got it.
It could easily get to $1. And it's one of those, it has low volume, but it could easily, break whatever resistance it has.
Yeah, which is at 85 cents. And
yeah.
Well, I'll definitely watch it because we just passed the 4 today. We'll see what happened here. What happens here on Neuro? Ticker is N-U-R-O in Neuro.
Mm-hmm.
All right, man. Appreciate it. Thank you so much for the call. Real good tickers here on HEB, iPhone, Neuro, as well as TXTM.
Yeah. Be careful with TXTM. I'm not sure with that. Yeah. It kind of looks like it could do something. Yeah. I don't know if we missed the boat on it yet, but I still think if anyone wants to get in on that other stock that I'm in right now, what is it? ISDG. I think people can still make money from that. You can still get over 20, 25 to 35% return on profit. The only thing is you're gonna have to ride it out until mid-February to get that profit, because I think it's just going up, tick by ticket, every day.
Yeah.
All right.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for the call.
No worries, man. Thanks for the show. It's a place that we can all vet and talk about what's going on.
Yes,
so
indeed.
Thanks for creating the community.
Appreciate it. Thanks a lot, man.
All right, peace.
All right. So shout out to him for the call, man. Great call. Great tickers, man. Great tickers. Thank you so much for the call, man. Thank you so much for the call. Bill Betts. And Bill, I'm willing to end the show with you, man. We got so many tickers for people to research for tomorrow as well as the future. But I saw your message about these Trump wall stocks. Do you want to discuss these Trump wall stocks, Bill Betts? Because I want you to speak about it. I mean, obviously you did the research. These Trump wall stocks. Otherwise, I can, I do see here, drug candidate receives qualified infectious disease product that just got released by the FDA overnight. This is QIDP. What's the name of that stock? Pulmatrix? Hold on, was that? No, I think that was PULM. Yeah, that was, okay, that was the reason for PULM. Okay, PULM, yeah, that was the reason for PULM. They received that drug approval. So this is kind of like a delayed reaction in the stock. But Bill Betts, do you want to talk about them, Bill? You said you want me to do it? All right, so I haven't looked at these. But these are Bill Betts in the chat room, Trump wall stocks. All right, so let's take a look at it. EXP, Eagle Materials, Oh shit. Okay, this is over $100 a share. You obviously talking about some options here. Eagle Materials. Yeah, and the stock was up almost 4% based on Trump's move today, talking about that wall is going to be built. USCR. Let's see what else you're looking at. Anything overly affordable, Bill? All these stocks killed it. I'm sure we can find an OTC stock that could run on this wall situation. I'm sure we can find a Trump stock that can run on this wall situation. Okay. Let me see. I'm watching another stock, VTSI. I'm watching VTSI, which a month ago got awarded $2.1 million from the Arizona Department of Public Safety. I'm watching VTSI for their situation if Trump decides to go into Chicago. If you guys remember, Donald Trump released a tweet about 2 days ago now where he said that if the Chicago Police Department doesn't get it under control, he's going to send in the federal government. This guy's going to put the city of Chicago under martial law. This is kind of scary, man. That's see, as a libertarian, that scares the shit out of me because I like his policies, but when he starts going into that kind of bullshit, that 1984 type of shit, I can't fuck with you when you start doing that, because if you can put Chicago under martial law, there's no reason why you can't put New York under martial law. There's no reason you can't put, Dayton, Ohio under martial law and then put my city under martial law. So I got to come after you if you start putting U.S. cities under martial law. I got to start talking shit about you. I can't stop you any other way. All I can do is talk shit about you. This is the only platform I can do that. But, I can't do that. We cannot allow any city in America to be put under martial law because of crime. That's ridiculous. And ladies and gentlemen, we'll go more into that on Friday's show. For those of you guys who don't know, Friday is we talk about anything on Friday. But again, we as Americans, as people who love the Constitution, we cannot allow any city in America to go under martial law because of crime. All right, crime is about poverty, lack of economic opportunity and growth within that area, city, state, county, whatever. That's what creates crime. We cannot allow the government to be 1984 us. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if you're a Republican, Democrat, Libertarian. You have to be against the federal government being Crime Stoppers on that kind of level. Hey, I mean, he just tweeted it. He sent out that tweet. Look at his tweets. Look at Donald Trump's tweets. He said he's going to do it. RVUE. What is this? RVUE. Review Holdings down 6%. 703, you're on the air. What's up?
What's up, Charles? Me, Master. How you doing?
Hi, doing good. How are you?
That's why I couldn't vote this election. It's like I had to pick between shit or piss, and I couldn't do it.
Yeah, I mean, it was a tough election. I mean, I like his economic policies, and that's why I made, 3 videos supporting the guy on his economic policies. I think personally, he's a horrible person. You know what I'm saying? He's a horrible person as a human being. But his economic policies. But now when he starts tweeting out all that kind of bullshit, martial law and bringing back waterboarding and all kind of, that's not what I was expecting out of you. So let's not become crazy now,
But you do know who he reminds me of, right? He reminds me.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
He reminds me of Hitler. Not the neo-Nazi Hitler, but the Prime Minister of Germany before he became Hitler-Nazi. Because Hitler Nazi did everything good for Germany before he started doing that. I wonder if it does in all the other races.
Yeah. Well, I want you to save it for Friday's show because we want to talk about on Friday's show. I'm going to be watching him a little bit because it's kind of scary, man. And again, it's kind of scary to hear him talk about sending again federal troops into a city. Because I don't trust the federal government at all. I just don't. I believe they honestly, if they can control how we eat, sleep, and shit, they would. If it were up to them. So I would hate. I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat. Obama, you can say anything about Obama, but Obama was never talking about sending troops anywhere. So, we'll see what happens with that.
That's why I'm Bernie Sanders. That's why I am independent. Because the Republicans are too hard, while the Democrats are too fucking soft. Like the Democrats are straight political correctness, while the Republicans will fucking kill you. Mm-hmm. There's no in between of those two. That's why I'm Bernie Sanders. Independent.
There it is, man. Appreciate it. Thank you so much for the call, man. Call us back on Friday. We'll be discussing that in a bit deeper detail, bro.
Cool. Okay.
All right. Thanks a lot for the call. So, yeah, man. Sad to say it. There are opportunities to make money on that kind of conversation as well. All right. Obviously, it's going to be a very expensive thing for the government to do that. They won't be able to stick around long. If that were, I'm sure, there'll be guys within the military trying to sabotage it because we have heroes within the military as well. We got heroes within the military as well. But he's been clear about it. Here's the tweet right there. If the city of Chicago doesn't fix the horrible carnage going on, I will send in the feds. I mean, send in more money, send in better training. Create jobs. You're a job creator, create jobs so people won't commit crime. Well, people won't commit crime. The best way to stop crime is jobs. Put people to work. Let them have one of those iPhone factories. Tyrone and Jamal and all these other guys, brothers in the hood with no jobs, no opportunities. They would love to be able to, make $15 an hour making an iPhone. Don't do it. Don't do it. You don't need to send in, you don't need to send in these guys, these 18, 19-year-old kids with M16s running around Chicago neighborhoods, man. And if one of those guys get killed, what then? What then? So, we'll see. So, again, I'll save that. That's going to be for Friday's show. Also, Friday, I want to talk about Q from WorldStar. Man, that came out of nowhere, dude. That came out of nowhere. His death in Q from WorldStar. I mean, that's really the dude who put on, hip hop online on a whole different level. They just really put the culture on the whole digital map. He's the one who got all these hoes out. All these girls that, didn't even know how to use the internet. All of a sudden went from Backpage to WorldStar, and now they got put on. They moved on to Instagram and whatnot. All right. So, yes, indeed. With that being said, let me put out our list for tonight. If you haven't already, please press like on this video. I wonder why am I... Let me see here, DJF. Please press like on this video. And one moment here. As I put our list out. And I don't know what's changed in the chat. Where now I put my list. And it used to put spaces in between. Let me see here. Used to put spaces in between. And now it doesn't anymore. Hold on. Let me see here if I can. All right. Copy. Let me paste it in here. Yeah, it doesn't even put spaces in between my damn, put it between the damn tickers. Fuck. So I've got to space it out myself. PLX, CNXP, VNR. And I think I got VNR in there twice. Yeah, let me put that out. PJet, TXTM, app, iPhone, and then Neuro. There it is right there. So those are the tickers we've discussed tonight. Those are the tickers we've discussed tonight. Again, it's been a great episode. We went 3 hours. Thank you guys so much. Shout out to everybody in the chat room. We had got up to like almost 128 people in here. Thank you so much for joining us. This chat is just getting better and better. People calling, new people calling. Please don't hesitate to call us. I'll be back on the air tomorrow to discuss where we were with our picks today, where we are for some picks that we had talked about last week. Some plays that we discussed. All right. UNXL, REX, NWBO, VDRM, MFST. So we're going to review some OPTT. We're going to review some moves that we talked about last week, see where we are on those plays. All right. Now it's been almost a week in OVAS. You would have, all right, OVAS was actually a sell. It was so far, okay, you're still kind of sideways on OVAS. All right, ICLD is another one. But yes, thank you guys so much. I hope you guys learned a lot. I appreciate all you guys joining us here in the chat room. And look out for some more videos soon. Thank you so much. A lot of growth, man. A lot of growth. Friday, I can't wait to go into some other details and stuff. But other than that, appreciate you guys joining us. Again, join us in the Discord room. And let me give you guys a link to the Discord room. If you haven't already, please join us in the Discord room. And again, it's just a place for you to drop information, drop some things, a question or two. People will be more than happy to join you. We got a live chat room. It hasn't been as busy in the voice chat as much as we want it to be. But it's a way for people to come in and drop information when they have something to give or a stock to watch and stuff like that. Torrents. All right, if you're looking for Tim Sykes torrents, free videos, free DVDs, they're all in there. Same time tomorrow, 8:30 to 9. Y'all know how it is. All right, appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining me. See you guys same place, same time tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good night.
Fresh boys on the track.